Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the opening part of What If Goku Became an Android. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe, it's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
To begin this What If, it starts shortly after the end of the Piccolo Jr. saga. Goku has just defeated his adversary to claim the world title. Across the bloody battlefield, a small vibrating object oversees the entire event. Dr. Gero watches intently and is deep within his thoughts. Beside the live content is recorded content from hours prior. He continues examining Goku, then slams the desk ahead of him. His body would be the perfect vessel for my next android, Dr. Gero realizes, raising up to pace up and down in his lab. You know what, I'll take you in. As revenge, you will become my puppet and follow my every order, Dr. Gero declares, looking back at the several screens on his lab wall. Shortly after, Goku's son Gohan is on the way and he is spending a lot of time with Chi-Chi as she is pregnant and slowly needing more and more assistance. At his home, he ends up feeling a massive key signature flying toward him. He races outside, leaving Chi-Chi slightly puzzled, but he then sees the mechanical Dr. Gero in flight. He rushed his own work and made himself an android. Since this occurs several years before the android saga, his power level is only at 3000. He simply hasn't had enough material to work with. He hasn't seen Saiyans like Raditz and Vegeta yet. Who are you? Goku asks. Dr. Gero doesn't reply, then just flies down to land a powerful punch on Goku's face. He forces him away through an entire tree, but Goku flies up and holds his bleeding mouth. Dr. Gero then zooms at him again and this time knocks him clean out. He grabs his body before it drops, then flies off with a massive smile on his face. Chi-Chi watches this happen from their home and is horrified. Dr. Gero slams Goku onto one of his experiment boards, then goes to work. For months and years on end, Goku becomes the vessel for his ultimate project. He acquires Namekian DNA from Piccolo and infuses it into Goku's own body. This grants Goku the ability of Namekian fusion and their regenerative healing. However, this fusion is even better. He can fuse with Namekians, but also pretty much anyone he sees fit, and he doesn't acquire their mentality in any way. Dr. Gero does this so he can maintain his control over him. He also performs mechanical enhancements to grant him infinite ki and stamina. There aren't many people to acquire DNA from as of right now, but he is still working very well. Unlike Android 17 and 18, he has a Saiyan body to work as a base, so he just makes him stronger and stronger. Finally, he begins reprogramming his mind so that he follows only his orders. About 5 years pass and his project is complete. Goku has been transformed into an android. The workbench rotates until it's vertical and Goku is removed from his straps. "Good morning, Master," he says with a bow. "Polite, just as I programmed you. Now, go out and complete your mission," he says. "Of course," Goku replies, before leaving the lab. So Dr. Gero spends less time making Goku stronger. He also has less time to work with and doesn't have the DNA of pure powerhouses like Frieza and Vegeta to modify and augment Goku's power. So I'd say Goku's power level is a solid 300,000 by this point. It's hard to quantify what made the androids and cells so strong, but he did have nearly 5 extra years to work on them and much more material. On Kame House, Chi-Chi is there with Gohan and has been spending the past few years trying to get over Goku just going missing. Raditz arrives once again and looks around in search of his brother. He takes down Piccolo and shortly after Goku leaves the lab. He is frozen by the key signature coming for him and can't believe the numbers that he reads. Before he can even move, Goku lands ahead of him. Goku is suppressing his power, but he still reads 100,000 on his scouter and he can't even move. He can't be that strong, can he? No, Vegeta's only at 18,000, there's no way, Raditz thinks, while frozen. "Kakarot, if you're this strong, why haven't you completed your mission?" he asks, slowly stepping away. "I only answer to my master," Goku replies, before zooming forward. He decapitates Raditz with a single swing and his head is left to roll across the ground. He then takes off to the location of other strong fighters that he can sense. This area is Kame House. Once he lands, Krillin and the others step out in fear before they're shocked by what they see. "Goku, where have you been all these years?" Krillin says in surprise before going to hug him. Chi-Chi is at the door with tears in her eyes with Gohan by her side. Gohan has no clue what's going on because he hasn't actually seen his father yet. Goku can't stop looking at Chi-Chi and her son and he starts to feel pain in his head. The memories that Dr. Gero tried so hard to suppress are still present, but only in vague memories. He struggles to place a finger on what's happening, but the two give him a strange sense of deja vu. Annoyed about the weakness they're giving him, he decides to rush ahead at the two. Krillin and Master Roshi don't even perceive his movements, then he stabs through Gohan's entire body. Lifting his arm with his corpse on him, he just chucks the body onto the floor before grabbing Chi-Chi by the neck. He effortlessly snaps her neck and that's the end of her. Her body flops to the ground and all that is left is for him to get the remaining fighters. He stares down Krillin, who slowly cowers away from him after seeing his terrifying gaze. It's like the humanity in him has been washed away and there's nothing left but a reanimated machine. Krillin decides to use the Solar Flare, stunning Goku. Even being much weaker, his attack is quite a neat one and Goku drops down to a lower position, holding his eyes in pain. Krillin and Master Roshi take this time to leave right away. They take Bulma too, and Goku only regains his senses once they've completely disappeared. Oh well, might as well start the mission, Goku states. He lifts into the air before firing off at extremely high speed. Now that Dr. Gero has used Goku as his puppet, he needs to further his research. He uses mechanical flies and Goku's eyes to monitor anything he thinks that he should see. Also, he desires test subjects and he takes in humans to allow him to further his research. Early on, he pretty much kills everyone he works on, but in his mind, progress is being made. From Raditz, he steals the Scouter and Dr. Gero analyzes it to the maximum. He also finds his space pod and uses the database within such pod to learn much more about the Saiyans. He implants this knowledge right into Goku's brain with a surgery, which is child's play for him. For Krillin and Master Roshi, they meet up with Yamcha, Tien and Chaozu to discuss their next course of action in secret. They need to revive Chi-Chi and her son, but this requires them finding the Dragon Balls in secrecy. They end up heading to Kami's lookout for guidance. While they're up there, Kami looks very worried about the threat of Goku. Piccolo isn't the type to listen to his commands, and if Goku was to find Piccolo, he would deem him as a threat and kill him. Now it's 10 months until Nappa and Vegeta arrive, but nobody's aware of that. They still want to get as strong as possible, as fast as possible, because they don't know how much time they have. They don't know what Goku's motives are, and for now they know they aren't strong enough to defeat him. Therefore they enter the hyperbolic time chamber and Kami teaches them everything he knows. He teaches them to sense ki and they spend a lot of time sparring each other. After this full year, Krillin has a power level of 1900, Yamcha 1800, Tien 2000 and Chaozu lags behind slightly with a power level of 1500. The group exit the chamber and feel the daunting power of Goku. Even after that full year of training, they stand no chance against him. Using Bulma's Dragon Radar, they spend time gathering the Dragon Balls. Luckily, they manage to find the Dragon Balls while remaining covert and summon Shenron. Since Shenron can revive multiple people at once, they summon Gohan and Chi-Chi. Once he's revived, they see Gohan as a possible help to the fight. They know how strong his father is and hope that he has potential too. Piccolo, while meditating on the Gizzard Rock, hears a cloud explode apart. Opening his eyes, Goku races at him with immense speed. The only thing that allows him to react is that he's so far away. He flies away and evades in just the nick of time, and Goku destroys the Gizzard Rock he was on. Piccolo's power level is at 400 by this point, and with his weighted clothing it's reduced a little bit. Goku is heavily suppressed because of the built-in Scouter abilities he was granted by Dr. Gero. As well as the knowledge of the Saiyans, Frieza and the system behind his empire, he was granted the power of the Scouter through his eyes. Piccolo is frightened by his sudden appearance, and Goku's face remains totally neutral, devoid of emotion. He can see wires and contracting pistons across the openings in his skin, and Goku releases a ki blast at him. He takes the blast and is heavily injured by the attack. It rattles him and he looks visibly stunned by the single energy blast. Goku, he couldn't have become this strong over the years, could he? Piccolo wonders, watching him lower his arm. Taking the chance he's been given, he swallows his pride and decides to try and save his own life. He flies away as fast as he can, as spontaneously as he can, and Goku doesn't see the need to chase after him. Scouter can no longer see his power as he's out of range, so he just flies off. If he impedes Master's progress, he will perish, he declares to himself, flying off. In his flight, he gets a flash of a memory with Chi-Chi. He grabs his head in pain as he flies before shaking his head and continuing on. Probably some malfunctions, he tells himself. Gohan enters the hyperbolic time chamber along with the humans for a year and ends up growing a monumental amount. He reaches a power level of 5000 compared to the measly power level of 2800 he reached in canon. That was by the time Nappa and Vegeta arrived. After he finishes, they exit to find Piccolo Jr. on the lookout. He is still injured from his fight with Goku, but he will recover. What's going on with Goku? Why is your friend trying to kill me? Piccolo asks, in rage. Kami holds him back as he approaches the fighters. To put this politely, you don't want to aggravate those fighters. Far outclass you now, Piccolo, Kami says, with his arms stretched out. Stronger than me? Yeah, that's why you're hiding from him too. Stop your bluffing, Piccolo says, shoving Kami away onto his knees. Krillin's power level is 3,500, Tien's is 3,750, Yamcha's is 3,000 and Chiaotzu's is 2,500. They certainly outclass Piccolo. Now that they can sense ki after being taught by Kami in their first year in the hyperbolic time chamber, they fearlessly stand against him. Then Piccolo starts to think twice about his rash attitude. "Well, I don't want him alive any longer," Piccolo says. "We're trying to get strong enough to face him, but we still need time," Kami explains. "You've been in this chamber here where we can train for a year when only a day passes outside," Krillin explains. Piccolo's eyes light up as he says this. He storms past the fighters before abruptly stopping. "What are you waiting for? Where is it?" After this, the group decide to head in there for one final year. They're afraid that it could totally mess up their mentality if they constantly go in and out. Also, they simply don't know what's going on the outside when they're in there. Goku could destroy the whole planet in a flash and they know nothing about it. A full year passes and the group are adamant on staying out in the real world for at least a while. Gohan is now not even young, being as old as he was when Goku arrived from Yardra and Cannon. After training with Piccolo and going through some arduous training on his own, his power level skyrockets. He is at a solid power level of 250,000 now. Piccolo's is at 6,000 after sparring such a strong Saiyan like Gohan, and the group remain out of the chamber. Dr. Gero is still in intensive research and doesn't want to enact his mission of taking over the entire planet just yet. He still needs more test subjects and needs to run hundreds more experiments before he thinks he's ready. So 10 months pass and the Saiyans of Vegeta and Nappa soar down to Earth. Everyone senses this power, even the Sea Fighters. They remain reluctant to head to their location right away if Goku is present. Judging from how Goku acted when they met, they wouldn't be surprised if he just goes off to kill them. Just as they expected, they feel Goku's massive key signature heading toward the other key signatures and they remain covert, with their own key signatures kept to an absolute minimum. Nappa destroys East City with a maniacal chuckle, then sees Goku in flight above him. Nappa and Prince Vegeta IV. Power levels of 4,000 and 18,000 respectively, Goku thinks, in his slow, terrifying descent. Goku has the whole system of Frieza's empire logged into his mind, and he also can see their power levels with the built-in scouter in his eyes. Therefore, he recognizes the two as soon as he sees them. Both Nappa and Vegeta can't believe the numbers that they're reading. 300,000, Vegeta blurts out, ripping off his scouter right away. Goku lands ahead of him within the newly formed wasteland and they both cower away in fear. They are taken aback by the mechanical parts they see over his skin, silver wiring and other buzzing technologies. No chance that this low-class Saiyan has a power level of that level, Vegeta says, charging at Goku. "Perish," he shouts out, but Goku evades his punch with ease. To him, Vegeta's flying through a pool of resin and he can track him with absolute ease. Vegeta throws successive strikes and does so explosively and powerfully. However, Goku continues to dodge every attack he throws. He sees Vegeta's power level of 18,000 and Nappa's power level of 4,000. He knows that their Saiyan bodies would be valuable assets to his master's research and so doesn't immediately try to kill them. He could use Namek Fusion to gain extra power and their abilities, but he sees no need to do that now. Vegeta just stands there horrified. He has no clue how Goku has done what he's done and his eyes stay totally widened. He's never had to face someone that is just so far ahead of himself and his mind doesn't know how to cope with it. With a single neck tap, Vegeta loses consciousness and Goku then shoots a death beam through Nappa's chest. His attacks were too fast for the two Saiyans to even react to. Their bodies both flop to the floor and he lifts them both to take them back to Dr. Gero's base. With the bodies of Vegeta and Nappa, Gero heals Nappa so that he doesn't die and he begins his agonizing, torturous experiments. Piccolo's power level is now 8,000 and he watches Goku fly past him. He's tired of hiding and not facing him and he begins lifting into the air to charge at Goku. He flies toward him with a keen smile on his face and Goku notices his presence from a few miles away. Piccolo never trained under Kami and so he doesn't know how strong Goku really is. Goku then sees Piccolo charging at him and swerves past his incoming attack with ease. "I let you keep your life before, don't think that I'll do the same now," Goku declares, watching him. "Try me," Piccolo shouts back, powering up to the very maximum. His charging of power and proximity to Goku makes the other fighters very alarmed. They gather at the Kame house from feeling this event taking place and they all look very concerned. "Where's Piccolo? It's him, he's trying to fight Goku," Krillin realizes in shock. "He never learned to sense ki, he doesn't know how strong Goku is," Tien says, making the other fighters take gasps of shock from the realization. "We need the Dragon Balls. If we don't have those, then we can't wish back anyone that dies," Krillin says. "With all our power together, we might be able to take him down. We need to try," Krillin says, while rushing out the Kame house. Gohan walks up to the front of the group of fighters and flies off, soaring right past them. Gohan ends up gaining a similar relationship with Piccolo after training with him for so long. He hasn't had a father figure like Goku, and Piccolo has almost taken that role. He's definitely not caring enough to fully be his father figure, and Piccolo is only 4 years older than Gohan after all. Piccolo punches Goku only to see that nothing happens. His body feels like pure metal, and he then pulls himself back as quickly as possible. He begins charging his special beam cannon, and now being much stronger, the charge time has decreased a significant amount. He shoots out the blast and Goku just swerves past it effortlessly. Goku really isn't having any problems with him, then he just grabs him by the neck. Piccolo struggles for breath and Gohan increases his pace as he sees this. Just before he can reach him though, he snaps the Namekian's neck before swat kicking Gohan into a rock hill. He tries to hit him with another attack in quick succession, but Krillin's Destructo Disc comes hurtling toward him. He sees Krillin's power level and doesn't seem bothered right away, but the blade severs his arm right off. His face is that of horror and Krillin has a slight smirk as he has hit the target. However, seeing Goku's face washes away any sense of happiness he's gained. "You pest, I've kept you all alive for far too long," Goku claims before his arm regenerates. A new limb covered in weird juices appears and he shakes it off before charging at the Z fighters. Tien steps ahead of Krillin because he knows he's slightly stronger and thinks that he could have a better shot of fighting Goku. However, Goku is instead stopped by Gohan, who swats him away with a swiveling kick. "You'll pay for what you did to Piccolo," Gohan says with fury in his eyes. "You will all die, I'm sick of your futile resistance," Goku roars before shooting a death beam at Tien. He ends up killing him right away and he flies up to crush Yamcha's skull with a single kick. Krillin sees Goku so close to him and is terrified. His body quakes in his presence, but Gohan then rushes ahead and wrestles with him. The gap between them is still significant and he manages to push off his son to then launch a ki blast into his gut. He then unloads with various punches onto Gohan's body that he can barely handle. Each punch rattles his internal organs and Goku continues throwing. His sanity and humanity is totally gone and he feels no empathy for his son whatsoever. Goku ends up grabbing him and flying down as fast as he possibly can to slam him into the rocky ground beneath them. He coughs blood from this slam and can't even move himself loose. Goku looks at him with furious eyes, but Krillin then lands ahead of him. "Solar Flare times 10, he shouts, releasing a much more powerful version of his Solar Flare. In the time chamber over the years, he had been honing his skill because he saw it as a rather useful and valuable skill to have. Goku is mechanical, so Dr. Gero also added resistance to his Solar Flare when he assembled his built-in scouter. Goku shouts in pain from this flash of light and Gohan frees himself. He lands a quick sucker punch in anger before flying off with Krillin. Gohan has never been able to bond with his father and all he sees in him is a mindless monster. He takes out his anger in that last punch, then grabs Krillin to let them escape faster. Chaozu was too weak to end up in this area and the only surviving members of this conflict are Krillin and Gohan. With no Dragon Balls, they have to try and head to planet Namek to hopefully revive their friends. Inside Dr. Gero's lab, Nappa and Vegeta scream in agony as their bodies continue to get tinkered with. "Your bodies are fascinatingly durable. A human would have died a long time ago. Your vitals are stabilizing too," Dr. Gero whispers under his breath. His voice is too hard to hear under the spine-chilling screams of Vegeta and Nappa. Vegeta has become utterly mechanical. His body has patches of silver metal in several places and his key signature is totally gone. His eyes have also been changed to a blood red. His screams have robotic undertones and it's clear that Vegeta is no longer just a Saiyan. Nappa on the other hand looks like a complete beast. He is covered in brown fur and has been given red eyes by Dr. Gero also. His muscle mass has increased even more somehow and his screams are like the wails of a wolf. He's extracted the powers of Uzaru and has provided it into his base form. Vegeta continuously pulls on the strong metal constraints on his wrists and ankles. What he notices is that the metal starts to bend. Feeling this happen, he uses the pain in his body and his fury to power up, releasing a massive aura. Dr. Gero is taken aback by the power he still possesses even after his debilitating experiments. His vitals are already this stable, how? Dr. Gero asks, as Vegeta breaks free. Once he breaks free, he rushes over to Nappa before Dr. Gero can even do anything and rips off his constraints. The two augmented warriors stand beside each other and stare down Dr. Gero, who cowers away with his arms extended. "Please spare me, Goku," Dr. Gero shouts. Goku is currently flying back to the lab after getting stunned by Krillin and hears the message that has been relayed over to him wirelessly. Hearing this call, he races over to Dr. Gero as fast as he possibly can and crashes through the lab cover. The metal shutter at the lab's entrance goes flying across the lab, and the two Saiyans decide to escape instead of trying to face Goku. Their main desire is to leave this planet and finally be free after the traumatic times they've been through. What are you doing, Goku? Catch them. We have your older brother's ship and you know how to navigate it. Find them wherever they are and bring them back to me. That's an order, Dr. Gero roars. Of course, Master, Goku says before hastily flying after them. Just as Dr. Gero thought, the Saiyans are heading off planet. They soar out of the atmosphere and Goku chases right after them in their flight. Their pods continue at the same speed so Goku can't catch up to them. However, he manages to navigate his pod to chase right after the two, even though he doesn't know where they're headed. On Earth, Krillin and Gohan get ready to leave, and once Gohan is healed, he has a new power level of 300,000 tied with his father. He seems to have a new resolution and a new demeanour. After Piccolo died and he fought his own father, he is determined to take his father down. If anyone messes up in the heat of battle, it will be Krillin. He's actually known Goku for almost his entire life and doesn't want to just kill him. The first thing he tries to do is try and restore Goku's true mind. They end up finding Kami's ship and head over to planet Namek with Bulma to act as a navigator. Vegeta and Nappa arrive directly at Namek because they don't need to recover. Their bodies have already healed from the injuries incurred and they feel far more powerful than they once were. Nappa's is at 200,000 and Vegeta is tied with Goku at a power level of 300,000. Dr. Gero made sure not to pour power into his new creations to ensure that they wouldn't be a threat to Goku. Unluckily, his project was incomplete and he didn't get to programming either of their minds. Therefore, they feel no need to follow any of his orders and actually want to kill him as soon as they possibly can. Goku has a lot more versatility and experience with his android body than the two, so he places his bets on Goku being able to take down Vegeta regardless of them being around equal. The three parties head toward Namek and they arrive. Zarbon and Dodoria already have 4 Dragon Balls to their names and Vegeta ends up being targeted by Kui. Vegeta notices the fighter in the sky and he doesn't seem to be descending to face him. Kui's eyes are glued to the scouter reading of 300,000 he sees. No way, that would mean he's above even Captain Ginyu. No, it's impossible, it's definitely a malfunction, Kui declares, ripping off the scouter to destroy it. He flies at Vegeta confidently to land a full power strike to his chest. However, nothing happens, nothing at all. Kui then throws another punch only to see that nothing happens once again. Nappa beside Vegeta feels the need to step in. He's gotten used to protecting his leader, but he waves him off. Don't fret, let me obliterate this guy myself, Vegeta says, making Nappa stand down. Kui widens his eyes from his terrifying statement. He steps back slowly, then Vegeta shoots himself forward. He punches Kui right in his stomach, exploding his internal organs. Patches of blood and flesh fall to the ground and Kui just flops onto his stomach, unable to move. In seconds, the fighter is dead. Whoa, my strength, could I even take down Frieza now? Vegeta wonders, clenching his fist. He then looks up with a smile, looking into the distance. Krillin and Gohan watch in secret as Dodoria and Zarbon slaughter innocent Namekians. Gohan can barely contain himself, and now that he's so much stronger, he thinks that he could actually do something here. It kills him to stay back when he has the power to make a change. Krillin urges him to stay back after looking at Frieza. The power he feels from him is massive and terrifyingly evil. It feels dark, sinister. Gohan, after seeing Dodoria about to kill Dende, zooms down at full throttle and lands a punch to his face. His single punch knocks him out clean and he then moves on to his next targets. These are Zarbon and Frieza. Krillin lands beside Gohan and is ready for action. He knows he lacks the power to face these threats but remains on guard in case his solar flare needs to be used. You're going to pay for what you've done here, Gohan says while his hair flows. His rage fuels his power and he races forward to engage in battle with Zarbon. They both clash but Zarbon is launched back. Frieza is also taken aback by how fast Gohan seems to be moving to chase after him. Zarbon throws a wild swing but Gohan slips under the incoming punch to drive his fist right through his torso entirely. Zarbon's corpse drops to the floor and his body remains awfully still. Frieza just watches this child with horror. This Saiyan from the power he's just showcased far outclasses even Vegeta. Gohan looks at Frieza and gets ready to attack him. He hasn't seen him do anything damaging the Namekians, but the power he possesses and its type makes it certain to him that he's evil. Frieza lifts out of his pod and lands, facing the boy of similar size to him. I commend you for your strength, Saiyan. However, due to that, I cannot let you live any longer, Frieza says, staring at him. Frieza zooms forward with explosive speed, but in his advance, he receives a heavy blow from the side of him. He doesn't immediately see who it is, but then Nappa and Vegeta land beside him. You're dead, Frieza, Vegeta declares, with his slightly robotic voice. Gohan can sense absolutely no ki from Vegeta, and Krillin can't either. It's surprising and rather confusing for the two. Vegeta then powers up, roaring as he releases his new power. Frieza is stunned by the power of the two Saiyans that stand before him, but then, before Vegeta can advance toward him, he receives a kick in his back. He is sent sliding across the ground, but he swiftly raises back to his feet with a roll. Goku lands, and in a triangular formation stands the three strongest Saiyans in the entire universe at this point. They stare each other down, and Krillin falls behind Gohan after seeing such strong individuals. Frieza sees these Saiyans are quite invested in each other and takes this chance to leave as fast as he can. Flying off, Gohan decides to take Krillin and does the same. They drop their key signatures so that they can't be detected, and as a result have to hop back to the little base they've created. Goku faces Vegeta and Nappa, who both turn to face him completely. Nappa, we've been through too much to let this power go to waste. Let's show this low-class weakling just how strong we are, Vegeta orders, powering up. Nappa gives off a beast-like roar and envelops in a green aura. Of course, Nappa says, in a beast-like tone. He raises back at Goku and Vegeta follows after him. Goku blocks the first punch from Nappa but isn't able to evade the next attack that comes from Vegeta. He receives a punch right to his gut and Nappa lands a hook to launch him into the Namekian village. Goku may have a higher power level than Nappa, but what Nappa has over him is pure raw strength. If he gets caught by one of his attacks, it won't be easy for him to manage it. The fact that Goku has even been hit in this way enrages him. He shouts and powers up for one of his first times ever. His aura causes the adjacent buildings to crumble and he rushes right back at the two Saiyans. Initially, the fight is quite intense. Each fighter has insane levels of focus and determination. Even if Goku is outnumbered, he isn't willing to step down that easily. He stumbles back with a grunt in agony, but he then regenerates his arm. He uses this regenerated arm to block a punch from Vegeta before landing a kick to his abdomen. As he lands this kick though, Nappa storms past Vegeta and grabs Goku to slam him into the floor with immense force. Cracks scurry out from the point of impact and Goku groans in pain upon being slammed. The pain is agonizing and distressing, but he remains resolute and hurls Nappa off his body. Goku, enraged, screams once again and begins releasing as much power as he possibly can. Veins show up across his head as he screams in rage, and all the Saiyans are thrilled by the fight at hand. You're finished. I'll bring you back to Dr. Gero so that you can answer to him, Goku shouts, flying right at the two Saiyans. You're too weak to do so, Vegeta claims, leaping at him also. Across the planet, Gohan and Krillin have a different mission. Their job is to acquire the Dragon Balls, and in their escape, they manage to acquire the Dragon Balls that the Doria had gained. They then head to Guru's tower, who is pleased to meet such pure-hearted individuals. As they are there, they receive his Dragon Ball and then they get their potentials unlocked. Gohan's power level raises to 500,000 and Krillin's is now at 25,000. They both are exhilarated by their power and Vegeta is too invested in this battle to notice their key signatures flying past him. Unlike Namekians, the androids can use Namekian regeneration without any harm to their stamina and battle power. Their infinite key reserves mean that they can continue to grow in power indefinitely. Therefore, in this fight, the Saiyans are climbing in power as they continue. The fight is long and it seems to be going nowhere. Vegeta feels utmost rage at Goku for letting Dr. Gero put him and Nappa through torturous experiments, while Goku feels the unwavering will to please his master. He's terribly frightened of how he would feel if he was to fail this mission. It's programmed into his brain to feel this way after all. The battlefield is covered in blood and nothing seems to be happening as they continue to battle. Goku now has a power level of 600,000 while Vegeta is lagging behind with a power level of 550,000. Nappa's is lower at 500,000 even with the partial use of his Uzaru form in his base. All the fighters have no intensity to their breathing and still seem equally as determined as they were when they started this fight. Vegeta and Nappa see no need in continuing this fight now. They decide to leave while Goku does the same. They all have the intention of meeting again to battle, but they aren't achieving much at this point. Frieza has already called the Ginyu Force and is awaiting them. The fighters stand down for a brief time and they all continue on their missions. Goku keeps his tabs on Vegeta and Nappa, hoping for a surprise attack. Vegeta and Nappa search for the Dragon Balls and aren't doing so well, while Gohan and Krillin have all but one Dragon Ball. With their 6 Dragon Balls and little resistance due to their kind nature and special Dragon Radar, it's quite easy for them to carry on and progress. However, Vegeta and Nappa soon find them. They arrive where they had kept their Dragon Balls and Krillin looks terrified. Upon sensing Nappa's ki, Gohan remains firm and turns to face them both with an unwavering gaze. "We're gonna need those Dragon Balls off you," Vegeta says, approaching the boy. "What makes you think I'll just give them to you?" Gohan asks, staring at the prince. The two fighters have quite the showdown and continue to lock eyes with each other. "If you don't comply, we'll just have to take them by force," Vegeta says, cocking back his fist. Nappa steps forward with a maniacal smile, while Gohan readies himself for battle. However, a few miles away from them, 5 pods crash down into the Namekian ground and form a crater. "The Ginyu Force," Vegeta mutters, turning to watch their emergence. Gohan can sense their ki along with Vegeta and Krillin. Gohan feels confident and so does Vegeta. The Ginyu Force emerge and receive their orders from Frieza to take down all the Saiyans on Namek. They can't sense their power levels immediately since they are out of reach, but once they find them, they all feel the strong will to stay as far away from them as possible. They read 500,000 and 550,000 on their scouters, and even Captain Ginyu is terrified. He's never seen these signatures, not even out of Frieza. "Is Frieza this strong? Are these Saiyans really this strong?" Ginyu asks his comrades, frozen. "There's no way, they can't be above you, sir. You're second only to Frieza himself," Jace claims. "Yeah, our scouters must be buggy," Berta says, taking it off to shatter it. "You won't be needed, sir. We'll take down these Saiyans for you," Berta claims, racing downward. The other members of the Ginyu Force can't help but rush down there, but Vegeta just raises his hand in reaction. He launches a barrage of ki blasts from his single hand that release massive explosions as they impact these warriors. Their screams can barely be heard due to the smoke masking them and the deafening explosions going off. Once they die down, those members of the Ginyu Force are no more. Vegeta flies up, and to Ginyu it looks like he's almost teleporting. A wave of air blasts into his face that forces his eyes shut, and Vegeta now flies at his level, staring him down. Ginyu isn't even calculated enough to switch bodies with Vegeta at this point. His mind is clouded by his fear. "You're a weakling now. Goodbye, Ginyu," Vegeta states, placing his palm on his chest. He shoots out a ki blast that shreds through his torso and releases a pool of blood and flesh from his back. Ginyu is no more, and so is the Ginyu Force. They've been reduced to nothing but corpses and shattered armor, and Vegeta just smirks upon seeing the sight. "You're next, Frieza," he says internally, while descending. As he kills Captain Ginyu, however, someone then arrives ahead of the group of fighters. "Hello there, Saiyans. I commend your efforts and dedication, but you have forced my hand," Frieza says, revealing his hands from behind his back. "As much as you believe that you are powerful, you pale in comparison to I. There's a reason why I am Emperor," Frieza says, revealing his massive aura. "This time won't be like last time, Frieza. You'll wish that we would have died along with our Saiyan brethren once you see our power," Vegeta claims. Gohan is taken aback by how their minds have totally switched off them. Gohan and Krillin seem to just be in the background, and Frieza charges at Vegeta. Just before he can hit Vegeta though, Nappa stops him by walloping him on his head. This knocks him right off course, and Vegeta uses this chance to land a sweeping kick to his head also. The two slam into each other and fall into a strong power struggle. As Vegeta and Frieza push at one another, the ground beneath them cracks apart and crumbles under the force. They then slam heads together, but Vegeta soon gains the edge. Frieza's arms get pushed back to his sides, then he receives a heavy blow to his head that knocks him back. Vegeta then lands a straight punch to his jaw, then slams a ki blast right into his stomach. Just as Frieza thinks that he can stop, he receives a devastating blow from Nappa to slam him into the ground. The two Saiyans stand over him powerfully, blocking out the planet's sun from his view. This gives them quite the dark appearance, but Frieza's rage-filled power-up makes them retreat. "I'll kill you all and end your race right here," Frieza declares before beginning his transformation. His body enlarges greatly, then he releases a final roar, now in his second form. "What's a mid-transformation going to do? I'm the Prince of all Saiyans. You can do nothing to me," Vegeta declares, rushing right back to attack him. However, his punch does nothing to Frieza, and he takes it with ease. "Did you really think that scrawny form of mine was my true strength?" Frieza asks, grabbing his outreached hand. He then begins squeezing and pulls Vegeta back to kick him toward Nappa. He then lifts his hand, preparing to shoot out a ki blast, but before he can release it, he is kicked in his back. The ki blast is knocked off course and flows right over Nappa's head, exploding in the sky. Behind him is Goku. "You can't destroy those two. My master needs them," Goku declares, watching him. "I know who you are. You remind me of someone. Yes, that Saiyan. That Saiyan who faced me that time," Frieza says, inspecting his face. "It's Goku," Krillin whispers to Gohan, excited. However, his excitement soon vanishes once he realizes the person that Goku has become. He's no longer the warm, benevolent friend that he used to have. He's instead become a heartless monster. Frieza just grabs Goku by the neck, lifting him up. Goku tries to free himself and is taken aback by the fact that he can't do so. His grip is immovable and he flails around to try and free himself, but he can't. Frieza hurls Goku toward Vegeta, sending him rolling and tumbling across the ground. He slides back to arrive at Vegeta and Nappa's side. His first instinct is to take them and escape, but this man ahead of him will prove to be quite the problem. Frieza races forward to try and attack the two warriors, but Gohan stands ahead of them both and catches this attack. Even though Goku is a maniacal warrior, from what he's heard, Goku wasn't always like this. It sounds like his mind was programmed in some way, and he feels bad to see him get killed before they could at least try to restore his true mind. The four Saiyans stand side by side and all know just who this opponent is. For Gohan, he can sense the evil ki emanating from him, and the other three know him as the evil emperor that has subjugated the Saiyans and their entire economy. Well, what's left of the Saiyans anyway. Goku doesn't care about his evil, he hasn't been programmed to see things in that light, but he wants to defeat Frieza so that he can capture Vegeta and Nappa. Making them weakened in this battle could possibly make his task even easier too. He is also just annoyed that Frieza might be stronger than he is. The Saiyans power up as they stand beside each other and they then fly at the Emperor. Nappa lags behind the three due to his physique, and the two people to race forward are Goku and Vegeta. Goku lands the first punch that Frieza blocked with ease, however he receives a punch to his back from Nappa, then a ki blast from Vegeta straight to his stomach. It's hard for him to contain their assaults, and since they're attacking him from all directions, he has to be aware of everything that's happening around him. Even though they aren't exactly fighting him in a coordinated fashion, their combined power levels far exceed Frieza's. Goku and Vegeta then dart ahead and land simultaneous punches to his gut that wins him. However, the Emperor backs away into flight before locking himself within an energy shield. He begins his next transformation and enters his third form that looks even more demonic than the last. Speed blitzing the crew of Saiyans, Nappa is the first to receive a punch from him. This single punch drops him to his knees and he coughs blood before curling over. Frieza turns to Vegeta and unleashes a wave of blows on him. These are the two Saiyans out of this group that he despises the most. He used to order them around, but now they're somehow giving him a hard time. He's not going to let that continue. Vegeta is furious that he is being overpowered by this Emperor. Even after those experiments and feeling exhilarated by his power, it's all amounted to nothing. After this battle, Frieza will probably force them into even harsher treatment and treat them like disposable resources to utilize. He would remain under him. Frieza slams his head into the floor, knocking him out, then rushes ahead to punch both Goku and Gohan in their stomachs simultaneously. He grabs Gohan using his tail and wraps it right around his neck to suffocate him. Using his limbs, he unleashes a powerful combination of punches and kicks onto Goku. Each punch causes significant damage and he slams Goku right into the ground before just dropping Gohan. He struggles for breath and isn't an android like these three Saiyans. He rolls onto his back and feels weakened by the lack of air he's had. He can't stop hyperventilating and Frieza just steps over these Saiyans to storm over to Krillin in a stroll. "Hand me all of the Dragon Balls that you've acquired," Frieza orders, pointing at the human. Krillin is more than terrified from his appearance and apparent power. After seeing this, he decides to use the only thing that he can. Solar Flare times 10. Frieza is blinded by this sudden wave of light and he can't even open his eyes without feeling agonizing pain. Nappa struggles up to his feet and bangs his chest in rage. He roars and races at Frieza only to receive a death beam to his chest. He is killed by this beam and falls flat onto the ground, now not moving. Vegeta watches this in shock. Unlike before where he saw Nappa as a mere subordinate, they've been through serious agony together. They spent the time on this planet searching for the Dragon Balls together while discussing the difficult times being under Frieza. He isn't as traumatized as one would be, but feels angry that Frieza continues to do whatever he wants whenever he wants. His power seems to be insurmountable. He turns back to Krillin with eyes of rage. Before Krillin can even do anything, he is shot into the air. "Krillin, no," Gohan shouts, rushing toward him. Frieza shoots his hand in his direction and points his fingers right at him, warning him. He doesn't shoot his death beam, but just this movement forces Gohan to stay put if he wants to remain alive. Krillin's body explodes and Goku watches this in shock. As he sees this, he starts seeing memories flashing within his mind. He sees Krillin dying for the first time as a kid, the times that he spent with him, the training they went through, and so much more. The programming that Dr. Gero had implemented is breaking apart and he just shouts upon feeling this physical pain mixed in with the emotion of loss. It's like he's going through an emotional roller coaster and he just can't stop the thoughts. Goku and Gohan scream simultaneously at the loss of Krillin. Their powers rise rapidly and their ki signatures skyrocket. Being fueled by their growth in power, Vegeta begins to power up as well, using his pent-up rage to power himself. The three Saiyans' hair start to flash, then their auras switch to a pure gold. There's an explosion of power and 3 Super Saiyans are formed. Goku and Vegeta both received Zenkais from their regeneration, and so Goku has a power level of 1.25 million and Vegeta has 1 million as their bases. In Super Saiyan their power levels are 62.5 million and 50 million respectively. Gohan's power level is slightly lacking at 25 million, but his rage is giving him quite the boost in power. The fighters stare down Frieza, who cowers away as he sees these sights. 3 golden Saiyans walking him down. He is still in his 3rd form and isn't entirely sure if he can still fight these people. Flying at the trio regardless, he is immediately stopped by a punch from Vegeta that makes him cough blood and fall to the ground. Gohan then races forward and lands multiple punches with immense speed and power. Each punch breaks any bone it contacts, and Goku races past his son to land a devastating punch to his abdomen that drops the Emperor to his knees. His view is totally obstructed by the Super Saiyans and their flowing auras. Wait Vegeta, don't you want to see me at my full power? Let me show you what I'm truly capable of. Do you want to just defeat me when I'm not even at my full strength? Frieza pleads. Goku just looks at the Saiyan in confusion before placing both of his palms on Frieza's chest, blasting him. Before Vegeta can even reply to his statement, he releases an explosion through his torso that takes him out right away. Good riddance, Goku says, watching his body just fall to the ground. With Frieza seemingly dead, the Saiyans remaining still need to settle their interfering goals. Goku just flies off with a conflicted mind after everything that's taken place, and Vegeta wants to wish for Nappa to be revived, and now he doesn't even want immortality. They gather the remaining Dragon Balls and Nappa is revived just as Vegeta wanted. Also, they wish for Piccolo to be revived, and back on Earth, Kami along with Mr. Popo and Chaozu decide to revive the remaining warriors after summoning Shenron. They bring Dende to Earth with them, and this pretty much brings the Namek saga to an end. Goku is still in a weird position heading back to Earth. He feels conflicted in his mind and his programming is slowly but steadily breaking down. Gohan, Krillin and Bulma head back to Earth with the use of Frieza's ship. Bulma is very smart and learns how to navigate it on the go. Goku arrives before Vegeta and Nappa do, then races to Gero's lab. He informs him of everything that's happened and he decides that it would be best for him to go. They need to be covert because his master is in danger, and Dr. Gero complies. They move all of the things around and enter an underground base they find in some backwater place on Earth. Dr. Gero continues his research but notices something off about Goku. He doesn't follow his orders as readily as he used to, and he keeps that in the back of his mind. Vegeta, Nappa and the Earthlings return to Earth, and the 2 Saiyans are annoyed to find that the scientist is nowhere to be found. Returning to the base that they remember vividly, they see that it's been emptied and destroyed. They can't believe it and don't even see Goku anywhere either. Vegeta and Nappa just choose to remain on Earth for the time being, training and also preparing to take out Goku when they find him. Their powers increase quite rapidly and Nappa feels annoyed that he seems to be lagging behind. Even the small Saiyan boy that is Gohan managed to put up a better fight than he did. On top of that, the Saiyans are now Super Saiyans. Vegeta informed him of everything that happened on Namek while he was unconscious. Nappa is more than excited to see Vegeta harnessing the mystical power of legend, but he now wants it for himself too. A year passes and King Cold heads straight for Earth. Gohan's power level is still only at 1 million, but Vegeta and Nappa have been receiving Zenkais and healing as they fought. Vegeta and Nappa's power levels have far surpassed Goku's, who can't train as hard. He doesn't have a strong, durable sparring partner that can really beat him down, and this puts him in quite a vulnerable position. King Cold arrives on Earth and the Z-Fighters sense his evil key. Krillin and Gohan think it's Frieza, but Vegeta and Nappa know that it's King Cold. They arrive at the scene and the former Emperor reveals himself alone. His son has been killed by the likes of Goku and he is here to take revenge. I mean, he doesn't know that, so he just wants to destroy the people he finds here. King Cold, I never thought I'd see you again, Vegeta says, stepping forward. King Cold smirks before cracking his knuckles. I never thought I'd see you again, Vegeta. I'm surprised that you talk to me with such gumption even though you know how strong I am. Don't think I stepped down because of any sort of weakness, he states, before making a battle stand. Vegeta smirks and just walks ahead, unbothered. His power level is unreadable by King Cold Scouter, who just throws the device off because he assumes that it isn't working. To him, it makes no physical sense that someone could just have no battle power, but he is also confused about the metal that is present across his body in various places. Vegeta begins shouting, lifting his power to the very maximum, then finally enters his Super Saiyan state. His transformation destroys the surrounding area and leaves King Cold horrified. The Super Saiyan of legend is true. King Cold just rushes forward, seemingly unbothered by this flashy power-up of his. He punches Vegeta right away and notices that very little happens. Throwing a second punch, his strike is instead caught by the Saiyan. He stops him right in his tracks and just smirks in his face. He then shoots himself forward and punches the mammoth warrior in his gut, punching right through his abdomen entirely. Blood coats his arm, but he doesn't care and viciously rips it back out. King Cold coughs out blood and drops to his hands and knees, but his species are very durable. Frieza did survive being blown up into bits and pieces after Namek's destruction, so a punch through some of his non-vital organs won't kill him. He returns to his feet with his irises gone from pure rage and injury. He runs back toward Vegeta and tries to attack him, but the Saiyan unloads a devastating combination of attacks. He finishes off with a swift and precise series of punches right onto his face that rattle him and knock him out cold. With his unconscious dying body left to rest on the ground, Vegeta just releases a golden ki blast onto him to kill him right there and then. Vegeta just smiles over the remains of his body, knowing that Frieza's bloodline has basically been totally removed. Future Trunks watches on from a distance, taken aback by the situation he's seeing right now. First off, there seems to be no mechanical version of Frieza, and his father has killed King Cold in Super Saiyan. This is not how things went in the past. There is a large burly man stood beside Vegeta that looks like a cross between a human and a beast. He doesn't exactly know what to do, since he also doesn't see Goku anywhere. The only people that he recognizes are Vegeta, Gohan and Krillin, who are all present. All he can do is just land there revealing himself. It also puzzles him that he can't sense his father's ki in any way. It's like he's not even alive, like a reanimated corpse. "Who are you?" Vegeta asks, aiming his hand at him. He hasn't yet reverted to his base form, so Trunks might actually be in trouble here, but he isn't sure. "Don't worry, I'm not of any threat to any of you. I would like to ask you where Goku is," Trunks asks. Nappa then rushes past Vegeta and grabs Trunks by the neck of his shirt, lifting him up with ease. "What, are you with Kakarot?" Nappa asks, before snarling in his face. Trunks is terrified but can sense the key signature coming from Nappa. He's strong but knows that he can handle it. Trunks is smart and knows not to reveal anything to these people. From their appearances and demeanor, they don't seem willing to cooperate. "No, could I just talk to Gohan and Krillin please?" Trunks asks. "He knows our names. Who is this guy?" Krillin asks, as he has dropped. He then talks to the two and explains what happened in his timeline. He talks about the emergence of the two androids and things like that, but they don't really understand what's happened. From what he's saying, their timeline is quite different to Trunks' own, but they take his word for it. If powerful androids are to come, they will need to train in 3 years' time. Krillin wants to pass the news on to the two Saiyans that have stayed put, but Trunks decides to do so himself. He's stronger than both Gohan and Krillin at this point, so aggravating the two could be quite dangerous for both Gohan and Krillin. Vegeta looks on edge, but future Trunks explains his timeline. Goku dies of the heart virus and he has the cure to revive him once that happens. Goku receiving a heart virus, that Saiyan won't be dying to any mere disease, Vegeta states upon hearing his story. Future Trunks reiterates to them that he is no threat to them and suppresses his power level to make them sure of this. They state that powerful androids will be coming in about 3 years' time and the Earthlings are quite concerned about this. They feel the need to train as hard as they can while Vegeta and Nappa do the same. I mean, they were going to do this anyway and aren't really bothered about these incoming androids. To them, they've already become way stronger than any of those creations that Dr. Gero creates. They might have been results of his experiments, but they've gained power through their own Saiyan blood. They've already added a lot to what's been given to them. Goku in the underground base created by Dr. Gero is starting to distance himself more and more from his master. The memories of his past life are starting to reach the surface once again, and he becomes concerned about following this maniacal scientist's plans. Soon enough, once he is given the pass to leave by Dr. Gero for surveillance and picking up human subjects, he beelines it for the closest key signature that he can find. On a pillar, Piccolo is training with Gohan. They both kick each other's legs before falling back, and Piccolo is faring much worse than the Saiyan. He didn't receive any of the power boosts that Gohan did and is trying his best to catch up. Of course, catching up to a Saiyan in terms of battle power is very difficult if not impossible, but him trying to do this allows him to grow stronger faster. As they train, they become frozen upon feeling Goku's incoming power. Gohan readies himself for battle, but Goku stops himself and places his arms out to show that he is not a threat. "Look, I'm not here to kill any of you," Goku says, making Piccolo immediately hostile. Piccolo doesn't buy a single word he says and just lifts into flight. He throws off his weighted vest and powers up to the maximum before racing toward Goku. He socks the Saiyan and deals significant damage. His base power level is now above Goku's after hard training, since Goku's has remained pretty much the same. The Saiyan tries to control his growing anger after receiving that blow. Dr. Gero literally rewired his character, but his benevolence is starting to slowly but steadily creep up once again. Piccolo then lands a gut punch, then SWAT kicks him downward. Goku just grunts in anger before wiping the blood coming from his mouth. Piccolo intends to rush right in there again, but Gohan stops him. Wait, he has the Super Saiyan transformation that I do too. He hasn't used it for a reason. If he wanted you dead, you would have been already, Gohan explains. Piccolo just scoffs upon hearing this before crossing his arms and backing up slightly. I'm here to tell you what Dr. Gero is up to. He is going to create androids stronger than anything he's ever created before, and he's making astounding progress. Just like what Trunks said, Gohan thinks upon hearing this. We know, Gohan says, making Goku very surprised. What? How do you know that? That information should be perfectly hidden. We were told by other sources, your information has been hidden perfectly, but all you need to know is that we found a way to know, Gohan says. Gohan simply isn't opening up to his father because he doesn't really see him in that way. The only times he's met his father was in the heat of battle, and he won't forget the fact that he literally killed him the first time that he met him. Fine, whatever, I don't care. I physically can't stop him, but you guys can. It will take time before I truly get control of my body again, Goku explains, looking down at his own two hands. He doesn't say another word, then flies off, leaving the two to digest the warning he's given. 3 years pass and the time has come. The time of the androids. They're ready for deployment, Dr. Gero explains, as the tables he was working on become vertical. Android 17, who resembles Super Android 17 from GT, is revealed with a similar to canon Android 18 beside him. My two masterpieces. These two shall aid you in your mission. Acquire Vegeta and Nappa and murder those remaining pests. Of course, Goku falsely replies before leaving with them. He acts as if they're on the same wavelength, but in the back of his mind he has a different motive. He's going to revolt, use the knowledge he's gained from the inside to help. Since Dr. Gero is quite a paranoid, untrusting person, Goku never received information on the serious weaknesses of the androids. However, that doesn't mean he's been totally left out of the loop. As future Trunks has told them, they arrive at the city of Sasebo to try and find the androids. Initially, they find nothing too suspicious. However, they start to feel the key signatures within the city being depleted. Let's see what's happened here, Gohan says, at the forefront of the group. Aside them, the duo of Nappa and Vegeta eagerly head to the area and are seen in the sky approaching that area too. The key signatures of these androids can't be felt, but they are easily found due to the likes of Goku. His key signature can be sensed by the surrounding fighters. So these are your old friends, Android 17 says, walking up to the Saiyan that stands against him, Gohan. Yes, Goku says, avoiding eye contact with the people that he is secretly trying to help. Right, I'll kill some of them, but I think I'll leave some for you. You should get some revenge on these weaklings, 17 says, before racing toward Gohan. He receives a devastating blow to his stomach that nearly makes him throw up. He falls to his hands and knees, barely able to catch his breath. However, he shouts and enters Super Saiyan before racing back toward the android. Gohan in this series is levels above the likes of Goku now. He then receives a key blast to the stomach that hurls him right past the remaining Z fighters that stand beside him. He coughs blood upon coming to a stop, and Super Android 17 just laughs before releasing a wave of ki blasts onto the surrounding area. He kills tens of thousands and cackles as he does this. Goku can barely stand to see this, but he doesn't desire to blow his cover now. The Dragon Balls could also revive those people anyway. Once he is done, the dynamic duo land ahead of the Sea Fighters, Vegeta and Nappa. Vegeta, let me have this guy, Nappa says, looking over the android. As you wish, Vegeta says, stepping back. Back up, weaklings. If you stay too close to Nappa, the collateral damage of his attacks might just take your meaningless lives, Vegeta says back to them, with a smile of pride. Nappa smirks at the two androids before beginning a power-up. A green aura envelops his body and his eyes begin to glow yellow. However, something special happens in his power-up. His eyes switch to a blue hue and the aura that surrounds his body becomes a gleaming golden. His fur becomes a slightly lighter brown colour and he gives out a final scream to finalise his power up. Once he is finished, his aura contains somewhat infrequent crackles of lightning, but he isn't using Super Saiyan 2 or 3. He has managed to mix the power that Dr. Gero gave him with Super Saiyan. From the way that Dr. Gero had activated his Uzaru power, he has unlocked a new and unique transformation. He refers to it as Primal Super Saiyan. The multiplier is a grand 1,000 times and he has surpassed the likes of Vegeta with the power. The prince does not feel just envy from his power but also pride for a fellow Saiyan to be as strong as he is. Nappa zooms at the android and takes him by surprise with the force of his blow. He knocks him back with a step, then lands a punch to his gut that forces him back slightly. Super Android 17 looks furious upon receiving this punch because it actually wasn't easy to deal with. "You pest," the android shouts, shooting a ki blast at him. He follows up with a barrage of blasts, but Nappa is revealed to still be standing, only with bruises that vanish in seconds. He shoots himself at the android and tries to punch him again, but he dodges this time. Evading the incoming blow, the android lands a kick to his abdomen that almost totally shakes him up. The much slimmer android seems to be just as strong as him, but this thrills him. 17 strikes him in the face with a punch, but Nappa just spits out blood and cackles at the android before punching him himself. Their punches destroy the buildings around them, and the other fighters are in awe watching this clash of pure power. Nappa is holding his own and is certainly giving the android a hard time. His adversary is nimbler and can evade his attacks more easily. However, his perfect durability means that if he isn't taken out in one go, his body will heal and become stronger if the injuries are grave enough. The burly Saiyan first attempts to try and hit 17 and the android soars right over his fist to double drop kick him in his face. This launches him down to the ground, but he lands firmly and awaits his adversary's approach. While he remains on the ground, 17 dives down toward him and Nappa just smirks. Golden energy begins being sucked into his mouth blast and causes the ground around him to rumble from his increase in power. Once 17 is close enough, he releases the full power blast and hits him head on. The surrounding fighters look on with surprise as they don't notice any immediate movement from within the cloud of smoke. The android is revealed with bruises and injury, but both of these fighters are not fatigued at all. He just looks on at the Saiyan with surprise. Based on the information handed to him by Dr. Gero, he shouldn't be as strong as he is. "You must be wondering how I'm able to beat you to a pulp right now. Us Saiyans aren't bounded by the experiments of your ignorant inventor. We rise to every occasion and are limitless," Nappa shouts back pridefully. Super 17 can't even stand thinking about Nappa being superior to him and dives down right at him with a roar. His attempt to defeat him simply isn't successful and Nappa has become stronger. He can dismantle even the fastest of his attacks, while he has surpassed the androids in terms of pure raw power. Seeing that he can't do much, it annoys him deeply. Android 18 arrives by his side and he looks very annoyed. "Why do you need to fight alone? Me and Goku can help so we can get rid of this guy quicker," 18 persists. However, 17 isn't the type to follow such orders. He grabs 18 by the neck, glaring at her before shoving her away. He snarls and is furious that he can't defeat Nappa but flies off in rage. 18 and Goku are forced to follow after him. The group of fighters are scared upon realizing that they cannot handle these androids and can only put their lives in the hands of Saiyans who aren't even there to save them. As they fly off, Goku begins to divert off the path of the two other androids, which catches their attention. "I need to do reconnaissance, I shouldn't be long," Goku says, flying off. Super 17 and 18 aren't concerned. Super 17 is just angsty to get out and slaughter those fighters as quickly as possible. Goku arrives at the Kame house where the other fighters are present. Gohan exits and faces him directly, while the other fighters watch him do this with caution. Behind him is Chi-Chi, who sees him and can't help but shed tears. It's clear that the Goku that she once knew is not the one standing before her. "I need your help," Goku explains, making Gohan chuckle. "With what? What could you possibly need our help for?" Gohan asks, clenching his fists. "Those androids are too strong for me or any of us now. We need to enter the hyperbolic time chamber so we can get stronger," Goku explains. The fighters don't immediately reply, but Gohan can see the concern in his eyes. This is the only option, that they must get stronger as quickly as possible. If they can't get stronger in this way, they might just get rid of Super 17 for good. Who knows what sort of augmentations Dr. Gero is going to give to Super 17 while they hide away at the Kame house. During this commotion, Piccolo is on Kame's lookout. Searching for more power, he fuses with him and nearly reaches his cannon level of power at this point. However, without Nail in his body, he's had to make up for that lost power through much more training. Imperfect Cell has arrived and he is ready to absorb the android so that he can achieve his perfect self. While he is in Ginger Town, he meets the being and is confused by his appearance and abilities. Their confrontation goes pretty much the same and Cell escapes using his solar flare. Back on the lookout, two people arrive, Vegeta and Nappa. "Why are you two here?" Gohan asks. "I saw the grouping of all these strong warriors and I was curious to see just what was happening here," Vegeta says, before grabbing Goku's shirt. He lifts him off the ground and menacingly smiles while glaring at him. "Wait, put him down for now," Gohan says, making Vegeta laugh. "Why should I let him live? He forced me and Nappa into endless torture and doesn't even have the decency to apologize for the pain he caused us." Gohan then explains to them about the hyperbolic time chamber, and they actually seem quite happy about this opportunity. They want to go in with Goku so that they can totally beat him senseless during those 365 days. It would be even better for them if they managed to kill him in there too. They enter and the remaining fighters are forced to try their best to fend off the likes of Super 17 and 18 while the other Saiyans are gone. Gohan has Super Saiyan and so does Future Trunks, but they're not entirely sure if they will be enough. Things also get a lot more interesting once Piccolo tells them about Imperfect Cell that keeps running around. They just make sure that Cell can't find the androids before they do, but he is suppressing his power so that he can't be found or seen. Soon enough though, in his search, Gohan finds Imperfect Cell. The green being stops and Gohan lands ahead in a gizzard wasteland. They both stand off against each other, but Cell zooms in to begin the fight. Gohan powers up into his Super Saiyan form and blocks the first punch from Cell, knocking him back significantly. During this time he has consumed the life force of tens of thousands of humans and has added to his power greatly. He can feel new strength and vigour within his body, and Gohan has just felt it in that punch. The two fighters exchange a series of blows and seemingly are equal. Cell can't do much to really injure Gohan, and the same can be said both ways. They both lock hands and push at each other as hard as they can, cracking the ground beneath them. However, Cell's aura takes form and he starts pushing back on Gohan. His arms get forced back and he just about evades the next attacks coming toward him. So this is Cell, he's much stronger than Piccolo described, Gohan realizes, as Future Trunks lands beside him. Don't worry, you're not alone, Trunks says, powering up himself. Why do you all hinder my progress? I see no need to harm you. All I desire is to become the perfect being by absorbing those androids, Cell declares, powering up in anger. As the three warriors are battling it out, 17 and 18 are charging toward the scene. 17 is thirsty for revenge and he lands just in between the two opposing sides. 17 has no care for Imperfect Cell and his eyes become glued on the Saiyans before him. Where is that bold Saiyan Nappa, he roars, wiggling his fingers in anticipation. You don't need to know, Gohan boldly claims. As the duo face the android, Cell is more than taken aback that his two prized possessions have come to him. Gohan snaps out of it once he notices Cell's gaze at the androids and rushes at him. Cell charges towards 18 while Gohan goes for Cell himself. 18 is confused about this sudden movement from the two and Cell is launched away by a punch from Gohan. You both have to leave this place, that thing is trying to absorb you, Gohan roars, before receiving a front kick to the gut from Cell. He is launched tens of meters away, but Future Trunks is still there to put up as much resistance as he possibly can. He's telling the truth, you'll die if you stay here, Future Trunks insists, holding his sword against a smirking Cell. This being isn't in my database, so you must be lying to me. Why would any being need to absorb me anyway, 17 asks, looking at Cell. Cell zooms past Future Trunks so fast that he can't even properly react. Just before he can reach 18 though, Gohan grabs him and forces him to stay put. Run please, Gohan shouts, which just makes 17 laugh. What are you two psychos talking about, he asks, before Cell knocks Gohan to the ground. His tail latches onto 18 and the process has begun. Even if 18 is absorbed first, I didn't see why Cell's transformation wouldn't just be the same. His transformation has begun and he enters his semi-perfect state ahead of the two Saiyans. No way, Future Trunks says, dropping his sword in fear. The power signature he feels off him now is immense and quite frankly terrifying. The burly being exhales calmly before feeling his new muscular frame. I'm stronger than I expected. Brilliant, Cell says, stretching his arms. 18 in this series is way stronger than the canon version of even 17. So semi-perfect Cell is a decent bit stronger in this continuity. Not on the level of canon perfect Cell, but still substantially stronger. Cell leans forward to try and blast toward the Saiyans, but he receives a strong blow from beside him. This is from the likes of Goku, who is currently in his grade 2 Super Saiyan form. Cell is launched back a significant amount and then Vegeta and Nappa land beside him. Goku, don't think you have the privilege of handling this beast. I'm taking out that thing myself, Vegeta says, cracking his knuckles. So what are you supposed to be, a massive cockroach or something? Vegeta asks. I'm part you, Vegeta. I'm a near perfect amalgamation of the fighters on this planet. Every positive trait about you can be found in me, Cell says, regally raising his arms. Is that so? You must be a product of Dr. Gero. I overheard him talking about a project like you. I despise every single one of his creations, and you will be the first of them that I'll destroy, and certainly not the last, Vegeta declares. 17 just watches on, very confused about the commotion that he sees here. He doesn't really understand why they seem to be fighting this odd beast that Dr. Gero did not make. Vegeta's claims make things even more discombobulating for the android. Let me take this fight, Vegeta. I know I put you through all that pain, but Dr. Gero did the same to me and he took everything from me. He took my mind and memories, Goku says, placing his outreached hand in front of Vegeta. The Saiyan Prince is aware of his claims and had conversed with him in the hyperbolic time chamber. The duo got very close to killing Goku on numerous occasions with pent-up fury toward Dr. Gero's androids. However, Goku has explained to them what happened to him, which makes them slightly more understanding. It only makes them want to destroy Dr. Gero even more. Goku cracks his knuckles, currently in his large grade 2 Super Saiyan form. "Let's begin, you ugly beast," Goku says, flying right at Cell. The two burly warriors clash and they both seem equal. They don't get knocked back in any way and instead just fall downwards. Goku lands 2 devastating punches to Cell's face but receives a strong knee to his gut, then an elbow to his chin. Blood drips from his nose, but he just shakes the hit off and wipes the blood, now healed. He powers up while in his crouched position and seems to buff up even more than before. His physique astounds the onlookers, then he throws a single punch to Cell that launches him into the air due to the force behind it. Cell receives a smarting sensation from his chest after receiving such a blow, and Goku returns to ordinary Super Saiyan as he flies up to him. Cell looks at him with widened eyes with shock, surprised that he can hurt him as much as he has. Goku then shouts and begins reaching further. Electricity crackles in his aura and he enters Super Saiyan 2. His power is doubled just like that, and he soars back at Cell to land a punch to his gut that wins him completely. He follows up with a series of blows and the others watch on in surprise at how powerful he seems to be. "How did Goku get so strong?" Gohan asks, awestruck. It's clear that Dr. Gero put a lot of effort into him. His Namekian healing is the fastest compared to me and Nappa, and he kept coming back no matter how hard me and Nappa tried to get rid of him. Goku continues beating Cell down, and it's clear that he possesses a different level of resolution. He is more than determined to take down this warrior and is out for the kill. Super 17 watches this fight ensue and starts getting angrier and angrier. It seems like Goku is trying to protect him, and he always saw himself as the perfect life form. Why would he need saving? He flies right past Goku and punches Cell in rage, who takes this punch with ease. Goku looks very scared upon seeing this happen and tries his best to reach 17 before Cell can. "Run," he shouts, but it's too late. The android is absorbed and Cell becomes his perfect self. With Super 17 as his second android absorbed, this is not just perfect Cell, this is super perfect Cell already. He laughs upon feeling the power that he now has, and Goku just tries to attack him again. He shoots out a ki blast right at him and Cell is revealed to have no injuries whatsoever. Cell doesn't even pay attention to his attack and keeps moving around his new body. The other fighters, bewildered, remain stood there as he does this. The only person to walk up to Cell is Nappa. "This thing can't fight all of us at once. Let's destroy this thing," Nappa shouts, standing beside Goku. Goku is taken aback by his willingness to cooperate, and Vegeta arrives beside them. "This disgusting beast annoys me. Your days are over, Cell," Vegeta shouts, entering his grade 2 state. Nappa enters his super powerful primal Super Saiyan state, now surpassing Goku by a significant margin. Goku has a much stronger base, so Nappa isn't like 10 times stronger than him at this point. The 3 Saiyans rush off to Cell, who seems untouchable. Goku's punches all miss or are parried, while Nappa's slow attacks are easily dodged by Cell. Vegeta's attacks are also dismantled with ease, and they can't do anything to properly take down the being. Goku throws a right straight punch only to see it get caught. He can't remove his fist from Cell's, then he receives a super powerful kick to his gut that makes him cough blood and fall to his knees. Cell then drives his hand right through Nappa's stomach, pulling it out to blast Vegeta with a close-up ki blast. "You fighters seem to be healing, but that's only because I'm letting you. The gap between you all and I is too great, and I'm quite frankly bored. In 10 days I'll host the Cell Games. Bring your strongest fighters to try and face me then," Cell declares. Just like that, the fighters escape with their lives and gather at the lookout. They need to find a way to take down Cell, and they believe they can do this just by entering the hyperbolic time chamber once again. Being given 10 whole days, they have a lot of time, and the androids can rise in strength at insane rates. However, Gohan also possesses great potential and is just highly talented. The 4 Saiyans, being Nappa, Goku, Gohan and Vegeta, enter the hyperbolic time chamber. They've been given 10 days of security, and so they should be able to enter together and have the planet be safe. Piccolo is on the outside and he is decently strong regardless. He won't be doing anything against Perfect Cell, but he could possibly hold off against other threats. 2 days pass and the 4 people have each spent a year in the chamber. Gohan spent a year with his father, while Nappa spent a year with Vegeta. Gohan didn't have the best time with Goku, but his mind is almost totally his now. He doesn't feel any sense of loyalty toward Dr. Gero anymore, but his body might not follow the orders of his mind. He's not sure if he could kill him just yet, but that isn't a concern right now. The 4 Saiyans now have insane amounts of power compared to what they had previously. Gohan can keep up with Goku because he's a prodigy. Even though he isn't immediately healing from his injuries, once he heals he makes substantial progress. And also just in terms of being a fighter, he's picking up skills very quickly. They spend the remaining 8 days resting up and going through some light spars together. The time has come and the Saiyans are now ready to try and take down Perfect Cell for good. All 4 of them are insanely confident and the other sea fighters understand from the power they feel from them. Goku wins a 4-way rock paper scissors between the 4 of them and steps onto the White Cell Games platform. Now, don't disappoint me like you did before, Cell says, making his own battle stance. Goku's face remains firm and still as he closes in on Cell. He enters basic Super Saiyan and stands off against him. Cell zooms forward at full speed and throws 2 straight punches that Goku evades with ease. Subsequently, Goku zooms forward himself to punch him in his gut as hard as he can. Even in just grade 4 Super Saiyan, Cell feels winded by that blow and almost can't believe how much stronger Goku has become in just these 10 days. Cell snarls in pain before wildly swinging at Goku only to miss once again. Goku steps to the side and kicks him in his abdomen so forcefully he is dropped to his hands and knees. He struggles to catch his breath, but he stands back up once again and powers up to the very maximum. He can tell that Perfect Cell is annoyed and his figure is a lot larger than it was in canon. It gives him a more intimidating appearance, but Goku is not concerned in the slightest. Seeing his opponent power up, Goku decides to do the same. It feels akin to an earthquake and his hair begins to drop down and lengthen along his back. His power increases 8-fold as he enters his Super Saiyan 3 form. His infinite stamina means that this form feels just like his base form and he dashes towards Cell. Cell tries to punch him as he approaches, but Goku whips around his incoming fist to then slam him in the back of his head with a hammerhead strike. He hits him with the side of his fists, which still knocks him back onto his hands. Cell even coughs out blood and his hands tremble under just his own weight. How could this be? What sorcery do you possess? Cell asks, furious. I don't have any form of sorcery. I am a creation of Dr. Gero, just like you are, Goku explains, standing over him. He then kicks Cell in his gut and causes him to flip over onto his back. Cell feels terrified by the piercing blue eyes he meets, and he receives an intense destructive wave of downward punches from Goku. It ends up destroying the platform that they're on. They continue descending further into the earth as the crater Goku has formed only continues to enlarge. His punches don't slow down or weaken since he has infinite stamina. He could continue doing this indefinitely. Cell coughs out masses of blood and has various broken bones in his body. His body is now just an unmoving piece of flesh. All he can do is twist his head around, then Goku reaches out his arm. Let me absorb you. What else do you have? There are no other options for you to take, Goku declares. Goku's Namekian fusion hasn't been used by him just yet, and the fact that both participating parties need to consent to the absorption makes things a lot more difficult. Even though he doesn't absorb any of their personality traits or appearance, they need to let him absorb them. Cell doesn't reply, then Goku just punches his already shattered chest to send fire-like agonizing pain throughout his entire torso. He barely has the energy to scream anymore, and Goku continues to stand over him. Goku's memories are resurfacing, but he still seems a lot more cold-blooded than he once was. It's clear that he wouldn't feel too bad if he were to kill Cell. He throws another punch onto his chest and Cell can't help but helplessly raise his arm up to him. Goku nods at him, then catches his hand before it drops. The two warriors begin to light up and glow, and Cell becomes totally white. Air gets blasted out from their general location, then the light dies down. Goku's eyes glow green before they dip down slightly, and Cell is nowhere to be seen. What happened to Cell? Gohan wonders. Vegeta just chuckles as he sees this. What a cheat, he's absorbed him, absorbed his power and mind, Vegeta says back to Gohan, surprising him. Goku is now in just his base form, but the power coming from him is immense. The other fighters feel frozen by the key signature they feel coming from him, and he just wipes off his bloody hands. We're done here, Goku says. Flying back to Nappa and Vegeta, the 3 androids nod at each other before flying in a specific direction. Where are they going? Krillin asks, watching them fly away. They're going to finally take down Dr. Gero. There are no more cards left for him to play at this point. It's checkmate for him, Gohan explains, watching them fly off. With that, Goku directs the Saiyans to his underground lair that they have to take a special lift to get down to. As they emerge, Dr. Gero looks delighted to see some of his androids being returned to him. Oh, thank goodness. Thanks for your help, Goku. I thought I lost these two, Dr. Gero says, approaching the 3. However, Vegeta's hand grows a key scythe over it and it stabs through his entire chest. Dr. Gero coughs out blood and Vegeta just smiles at him. Dr. Gero mumbles under his breath, but no one can understand what he's saying. As he says this, his voice gets weaker and weaker as he's dying. Vegeta pulls out his scythe and he just dies, flopping to the ground. There we go, Goku says, looking at his corpse. As he sees him, he feels a sense of power grow inside him. It feels as if shackles have been taken off him and he's now free. Thinking about all the times he had to monotonously follow his orders, he feels great to know that he can finally act autonomously. As they leave, a weird noise can be heard from the supercomputer in the lab. Operation Resurrection has initialized, it rings out, with no one there to hear it. Inside there, several cases of mechanical androids are revealed. They look like purple versions of Cell while also being quite miniature. They're not extremely small like the Cell Juniors in canon, but they're slightly smaller than Cell in terms of height and muscle mass. Following this, a long period of peace arrives for Earth. Those killed by Cell are revived, and the likes of Super 17 and 18 are also revived. After the community post, I saw that the majority wanted 18 to be paired with Goku, but after thinking about it, I think it would be better if he just stayed with Chi-Chi. Upon having his memories returned to him, he is still in love with Chi-Chi, and it doesn't really do much to the plot anyways. His Namekian side gives him the ability to heal, and he spends a lot of time training with his father. In these years that pass, Vegeta also meets Bulma and ends up having a son with her. Trunks is around as old as Goten is, and is younger by likely a few months or so. During these years though, Goku is looking for something. Going to Bulma for help, he uses the aid of the database stored in his mind to allow Bulma to learn from the projects that Dr. Gero had gone through. After letting her see and analyze these blueprints and documents, he asks her to perform some augmentations to his body. He wants the power that Nappa has so that he can achieve the primal Super Saiyan form for himself. He wants to explore this hidden power that remains dormant in his Saiyan DNA, and Bulma is initially reluctant. However, she sees no reason to say no, as she knows that she could perform these procedures easily. I mean, she made a literal time machine, so I'm sure that she could just copy the instructions specified by the documents given to her. It is successful, and Goku doesn't look furry like Nappa does in his base. However, he has been given access to the primal Super Saiyan form. After Super 17 is revived, he goes off and pretty much goes on to do what he does in canon as ordinary Android 17. He's just much stronger, which will be quite valuable when the Tournament of Power comes along. After these 7 years, the World Tournament comes. In the Junior Division, Trunks ends up facing Goten, and they both nod at each other while in the center. Following this, Trunks zooms forward and throws a wild punch that Goten just about blocks. They remain in their base forms but still possess crazy power. After training with their fathers that literally never get tired, they've become true powerhouses. However, when Trunks rushes forward again, Goten picks his shot and punches him into the air before leaping up and double drop kicking him in his chest. This shoots him more than 100 meters into the air, and the spectators are filled with awe as they watch this spectacle. The two fighters exchange attacks for a time and seem like bang on equals. Their physical stats are very similar, but Goten edges out Trunks in terms of technique. He has a better teacher in the form of Goku, who is more willing to give him new techniques. Trunks cheats and enters Super Saiyan, but Goten decides to take it one step further. He enters Super Saiyan 2, which he already has access to at this point. His aura crackles and roars around his body, and he unleashes a wave of attacks onto Trunks that he can barely handle. His attacks are explosive but accurate, still looking skillful and calculated. Trunks is pressured to the edge of the ring, and with a final swatting kick he is eliminated and Goten is given the win. The following matches go quite similar up until Gohan is up to face Kibito. Gohan still has decided to not keep up his training and achieve his dream of becoming a scholar. He has gotten rusty, but he is way stronger than he was in canon. The Gohan here would obliterate Perfect Cell with just ordinary Super Saiyan, and he can sustain Super Saiyan 2 quite well. However, Yamu and Spopovich take his key and realize that they have a lot more than they expected. Rushing over to Babidi's spaceship, the other fighters follow and the androids arrive at the scene. Dabura shoots his spit, and Piccolo and Krillin end up turning to stone like in canon. However, the remaining fighters are tasked with dismantling the foes that Babidi pits against them. Vegeta still makes quick work of Pui Pui, and Goku defeats Yakon with just Super Saiyan, and the last fighter remaining is Dabura. The fighter that ends up facing Dabura is Goku. He stands against the Demon King fearlessly, who gets annoyed by his confidence. "Let's see if you'll be smiling after this," Dabura shouts, releasing a one-hand energy wave at the Saiyan. He hits him right on, and he thinks the job is done. He cackles as he sees the cloud of smoke envelop the Saiyan, but he is revealed with not even a bruise. "Wow, I haven't even been hurt since I fought Cell," Goku realizes. After absorbing Perfect Cell, his power climbs by astronomical amounts. It's insane how much stronger he's become now, and his knowledge has increased too. He can perform the attacks of his friends to their level, like the Destructo Disc from Krillin and Tien's Neo Tri-Beam. Dabura rushes forward and punches Goku on his chest, only to see him not move an inch. He throws another punch, then a few more, only to see him not move in the slightest. His fists just start stinging, then Goku decides to throw a punch that he doesn't hold back on. Landing right on his face, blood spurts out from the point of impact, and he literally crushes his skull. The attack leaves a gruesome sight and Dabura's body just falls after receiving such grave damage. Whoa, I hit him a little too hard, Goku says. After these years that he spent with family and those around him, his empathy has slowly returned to him. He didn't desire to kill Dabura with his attack, but just didn't know how strong he was. After this plays out, the energy released is already enough to activate Buu. They are transported to the scene and Buu is revealed. The androids didn't even look to destroy it and get even more confident upon seeing what is revealed. What even is that thing? Vegeta asks, in laughter. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to keep it alive, Nappa declares, cracking his knuckles. He approaches the warrior and enters his powerful primal Super Saiyan form. Racing off toward Buu, a single punch from him opens up his entire stomach. Pink particles go flying out from the point of impact, then Nappa follows up with numerous ki blasts to try and incinerate the being. He just continues on and on with the attacks and doesn't seem to be stopping. With his infinite stamina, each blast is just as destructive as the last, and the only things of Buu that remain on the ground are small pink blobs. Nappa laughs with pride upon seeing this fighter get demolished so easily. Is this the fighter you brought to face us? I must say I'm not impressed, Nappa declares, but Supreme Kai remains vigilant. Don't get too cocky now, Nappa. Majin Buu is not dead. The pink particles start merging together and Majin Buu is revealed once again with no injuries. His body looks perfectly healthy and Nappa is taken aback by the durability of this thing. Wow, it's like Dr. Gero made it, Nappa says, making Vegeta and Goku laugh in reaction. However, I don't care how much this thing can come back from. It's not coming back from this, Nappa says, opening his mouth wide. Golden energy condenses in his mouth and causes the ground to rumble. The other fighters who haven't seen Nappa use this attack can't look away. They are astounded by the amounts of power he seems to be concentrating into his mouth, then he releases a large golden ki blast at Buu. It hits him head on and vaporizes Buu in the explosion. His pink mass is scorched and destroyed, even down to the molecular level, so the damage is irreversible. Buu has been reduced to mere ashes and Babidi almost can't believe it at all. Before he can escape, Vegeta shoots a single ki blast that follows right after him no matter which direction he takes. It hits him and he is killed too, which pretty much brings the arc to an end, along with Dragon Ball Z as a whole. Gohan is not killed and the Supreme Kai can return to his home planet after the events that have played out. Kibito is revived using the Dragon Balls and very little damage has been caused overall. This brings a quick end to Dragon Ball Z and peace is returned to Earth. A year after these Dragon Balls have been used though, the purple miniature cells that Dr. Gero created are released from his lab. The supercomputer has been continuing Dr. Gero's work and has made these warriors even more powerful. They don't need to be that strong though, as their job is only to revive their master. Gathering the Dragon Balls in secrecy, he is summoned and these servants don't have much time before their cover is blown. The sky goes black and Shenron is revealed. Shenron doesn't have any biases and must fulfill the requests that are given to him. They ask for Dr. Gero to be revived, then their second wish is for Dr. Gero's lab to be unable to be located. This final wish erases the memory of his lab from the other androids' minds. This will allow Gero to be able to continue his operations in secrecy and safety. Goku looks up at the sky with confusion upon seeing this. He knows what has happened but doesn't understand why it has. He just assumes that someone like Bulma has decided to summon Shenron for whatever reason and returns to the training that he was doing at that moment. In his lab, Dr. Gero is revived and he laughs upon knowing that his plan had worked successfully. You were stupid to think that I couldn't tell you were slipping from my control, Goku. My vengeance will cost you your life and the lives of everyone you love, Dr. Gero declares, standing. For now, life on Earth is just as it usually was. Goku asks Bulma what she was doing with the Dragon Balls, but everyone is as clueless as he is. Goku doesn't really understand what happened now, but doesn't think much of it. Nothing has happened for the remaining years before Super, so he is sure that it's nothing to worry about. After this time, the God of Destruction awakes. He sees the dream of the Super Saiyan God and decides to head to Earth, as this is where Goku is right now. Training in the sea, he throws out punches and kicks, and just these attacks cause tsunami-like waves to be formed out from where he is. Upon checking the alarm on his phone, he grabs his head in anger upon realizing that he is late for Bulma's birthday. I need to head there as fast as I can, Goku says. He prepares to leave, but is then stopped by the God of Destruction, Beerus. Goku can't sense his ki and believes that the person standing ahead of him is one of Dr. Gero's androids. He feels just like Vegeta, Super 17 and 18, a person that doesn't even feel alive. Goku immediately looks hostile and dashes forward at Beerus to swing at him with fury. Beerus evades his attack easily, then blocks the second punch that he throws. His second punch causes waves that are tens of meters high to be formed. They fly out from the point of impact and Beerus stands there unbothered. What an impolite greeting, Beerus says, making Goku calm down a little. He doesn't look to be an android in any way and doesn't seem to be out for a kill. It doesn't make sense to him either since he killed Dr. Gero. Once he stands down for a little bit, Beerus tells him why he is there. He reveals his dream of the Super Saiyan God and Goku is intrigued about this power. He doesn't have the power though, so Beerus doesn't care if he's interested in it or not. Goku knows a lot about different things due to the database in his mind. He has seen the various projects that Dr. Gero took part in and has a deep understanding of certain things like technology and genetics, but has no clue about any of this. Beerus heads to the party and causes havoc, just like he does in canon, but Shenron is summoned and they look to see how they could summon the Super Saiyan God. Hearing that Beerus is threatening to destroy their planet, they all decide to let Goku be the center of this ritual. He outclasses everyone else by a large margin and he'll be their only hope of defeating Beerus to save their planet. The ritual begins and Goku is lifted into the air as this happens. His eyes flash green before flashing red and his aura switches to a fiery one. He becomes the Super Saiyan God and possesses enormous amounts of power, but the other Z fighters can't actually sense his ki since he is now using God Ki. Goku begins his fight with Beerus and surprises him with the amount of power he has gained from this transformation. He punches him and manages to connect because Beerus simply underestimated him. Goku receives a kick to his stomach but manages to catch Beerus with another punch before getting kicked to the ground. Beerus races after him in his descent and punches him into the water below them. Due to the sheer speed that Goku was sent into the water, it sent flying upwards in an intense splash. Goku enters the waters and begins to calculate his next move. From what he's just received, Beerus is stronger than he is. Just like in canon, he has been holding back slightly but not much, and from what he's seeing, not as much as Beerus is. He zooms out the water, then flies up to remain floating ahead of Beerus. How does it feel to have the power of a god, Beerus asks, before punching Goku right in his chest. His attack is too fast to react to and he is sent flying over the water surface, forming mammoth waves along the sides of him. God, I guess, different to what I expected, Goku replies, before throwing haymakers at Beerus. He can't pierce through Beerus's impenetrable block, but he feels thrilled by the power he's been given. Almost losing too much control, he snaps back into reality as he receives numerous punches onto his face and abdomen. He coughs blood after receiving those attacks and really starts to realize that he has been put up against a true powerhouse. Throughout their battle, it's like Goku can do nothing to succeed. Each time he lands an attack, it feels like he's just let him. Eventually, they end up in the upper areas of space and Goku can barely breathe. He isn't panting like he was in canon since he has infinite stamina. However, the air is really thin. Covered in his own blood and various wounds, he shouts and the wounds vanish right away. His muscles buff up momentarily as he does this and he seems just as fresh as he was before their battle. This fight was somewhat entertaining, but now it's time that I hold my end of the deal. You didn't do enough to impress me and now I'm going to destroy your planet, Beerus states, aiming his hand at the earth. Goku looks there and thinks back to the life that he has, the memories that he's gained back on there with his children, Vegeta, Nappa and Chi-Chi. Those that he can't let die are endless. The blast heads down toward Earth but he stands firm, blocking it from getting too far. His clothes rip under the pressure and he grunts from the strain on his body at this moment. However, his power doesn't fade to fatigue. He remains pushing up against this blast and feels like he could do so pretty much forever. He pours his ki ahead and forms his very own ki blast that dismantles the energy blast that comes his way. He remains in Super Saiyan God and looks ready to fight, but Beerus is ready to leave instead. He's gotten what he wanted and decides to spare him and his planet. During this time, Dr. Gero emerges from a cool chamber that emits cool icy air. He is revealed as an android with a newly powered body. Your systems are stable, sir. Congratulations on your successful body transfer. A purple Cell-like being says from beside him. Thank you, Cell Jr. It's only a matter of time before we all complete our mission, he says, cracking his knuckles. On Earth, things start to get a lot more intense. Goku in the waters is training with his son Goten. They do some light sparring and Goten is delighted as they do this. He loves spending time with his dad doing things like this and Chi-Chi just watches on from the shore beside them. However, a weird being comes charging at them. This is the purple Cell Jr. from before. Goku pulls Goten right out the way, then clashes with the being to knock it back more than 20 meters. Goten, take your mother and leave, Goku orders. Goten doesn't immediately reply and Goku is annoyed at the fact that he isn't moving. Your lives are at risk, I said go now, Goku shouts to him. I see you have mended the broken bonds with your family, the Cell Jr. says. Don't you dare speak about my family, Goku declares, dashing forward to punch the being right in its head. His punch shatters its skull and he is surprised by how strong the thing is. Its speed and strength was comparable equal if not superior to perfect cells. As he does this, 5 more of these weird cell juniors circle him and attempt to attack him at once. They all try to simultaneously punch him, but he drops down and evades all of their attacks with this movement. They all slam into each other before pushing off one another to try and assault Goku by flying downwards. However, he's way too fast and weaves past all of the attacks like nothing. He even closes his eyes and has enough reaction speed to dodge their attacks from just hearing them try to attack him. They are bio-androids, and so they have key signatures that Goku can sense also. Flipping and flying around all over the place, it's almost as if he can't be hit at all. Seconds later, he begins taking out these warriors like flies and reduces them to destroyed corpses that drop into the waters below them. Did Dr. Gero really think that he could defeat me just with these odd beasts? They're stronger than Cell, yes, but not by much, Goku says, before looking up to see Dr. Gero facing him. Hello there, Goku, Dr. Gero says with an evil smile. Beside him is Super 17 with glowing red eyes. 17, what did you do to him? Goku asks, making him laugh. I didn't do much, my control was deep in his programming, all I had to do was fortify it a little bit. Also, this is not just Android 17, with genetic enhancements and technological improvements, this is the ultimate android, Super Android 17, he declares. Eliminate Goku as quickly as possible, Dr. Gero declares, backing away slowly. Following this, 17 zooms at Goku and takes him aback by the punch that lands on his gut. He feels like he's been hit by a cannonball, but he remains in flight and gets hit by another devastating punch to the face. 17, can you hear me? It's Goku, Goku shouts at him. There's no use in calling out to him, I've erased every bit of friendship that he had with you from his memory. All he sees in you is a person that he must kill by my order, Dr. Gero shouts. You always do this, erasing people's memories. How did you even come back? Goku asks in confusion, before taking another punch from 17. 17, stand down for a moment, Dr. Gero says, flying forward. The answer is simple. I knew you were falling out of my control and I knew that you would eventually try to kill me. The way I tried to erase your memories was poor and you have an incredibly strong mind. Therefore, I set up a system that would activate when I died for me to be revived so that I could continue where I left off. Now I have the DNA of Cell and you and everyone else. I've implanted the DNA of you people into Super 17 and now he is the perfect warrior, infinite reserves of stamina and amazing power. No, Gero, you've underestimated me, Goku replies. A red aura envelops his body that resembles flames. His hair flows wildly and it looks like his body starts slimming down. His power up causes intense waves to form around him and he enters his Super Saiyan God form. Dr. Gero smirks and flies back, then Super 17 takes his place. He also powers up and their auras create whirlpools in the sea beneath. I'll show you just how strong I really am, Goku declares, glaring at Super 17. Super 17 flies toward Goku and tries to punch him, only to see Goku fly right past him with ease. Dr. Gero's smirk fades after seeing just how fast Goku is right now. He hadn't been analysing Goku's new form as intensely as he should have, being overwhelmed by the work he had to do to finish off Super 17. After successfully completing his Operation Resurrection, he became arrogant. He didn't assume that Goku would be strong enough to defeat his strongest creation. Super 17 roars and punches Goku, who catches his attack. Throwing his fist to the side, he lands a single devastating punch that shoots the android into the water like an arrow. The water is shot up as this happens and Dr. Gero looks at Goku with fear. Super 17 is stronger, but Goku is now on a totally different level. Beerus is an extremely strong god of destruction and Goku is easily at least low god of destruction level. The android comes charging out the water with his brazen red eyes glued on Goku. He restlessly tries to take him down, but his attacks are to no avail. Goku evades or blocks every single one of them and he simply doesn't want to hurt him. He sees the face of a friend that he's made and can't just kill him here like the other fake cells that were attacking him previously. Android 17 used to be a human after all, he just feels like it would be wrong to kill him now. His body is still intact, so he is hoping that his mind is the same. He can tell that he's a strong warrior from the power he's currently showing him, so he would definitely be an asset in helping protect the Earth in the future. Super 17 blindly rushes ahead just as he's been doing for all of the attacks he's previously thrown, and Goku decides to slip past his punch and grab him by his neck. Pulling him back ferociously, he stops 17 from breathing while turning back to Dr. Gero, who watches on terrified. The android struggles to try and release himself and his movements soon slow. 17 passes out completely and Goku holds him in place for a few seconds before laying him on his shoulder. Diving down and ahead, he kicks Dr. Gero in his stomach with such force that tsunami-like waves are raised and he crushes the components in his chest. Even in his newly powered body, he is nothing compared to Goku now. Struggling to remain in flight, he sees Goku charging toward him and screams while releasing a full power photon wave. With his upgraded body, the photon wave moves with greater speed and also looks much larger than the canon version. However, Goku moves with such speed that it looks like he's teleporting. He arrives by the side of this blast, then shoots a simple laser-like beam at Gero. Hitting one of his vital components, he partially falls into the water before thrusting back up into flight. He grits his teeth in pain having received that attack and would be coughing up blood if he was in his human body. So you moved yourself out of your previous cyborg body and went nearly full on artificial. I don't think you were as careful to continue your resurrection operation this time, were you? Goku says, making Gero's eyes widen. What he said just now is the truth and he can't die here. Flying away as fast as he possibly can, Goku just tracks him down with his outreached palm and shoots a red ki blast at him. No matter how fast he flies, he can't outfly it and it hits into his back, exploding on impact. A massive explosion is released and Dr. Gero is destroyed for good. Finally, Goku says to himself before flying off to Capsule Corp. With a wild Super 17, Goku stands over him as Bulma tries her best to try and reset his mind. Finding her way around the complex circuitry of 17's mind, she manages to alter it and return it to its original state. This isn't his mind before he was a human, but it's his mind before he had his mind altered the second time. 17 is awoken and looks very scared, and it's almost as if he has no clue where he is. However, Goku explains to him what's happened. He doesn't have the humility to utter a single word of gratitude and just flies off after the procedure. The least he could have said was thanks, Bulma says, falling back onto her chair in relief. After this time, Frieza is reborn by the likes of Sorbet and his army. The procedure is quite long and arduous as they must head to Namek to retrieve his body. However, they find him on the way in space looking for a nearby planet that he once reigned over. Frieza can survive in space and he is gravely injured, so he flies off into space to try and find the planet where he can heal. However, he is picked up in the process and healed in a healing chamber in Sorbet's ship and is restored to his full strength. Seeing how strong those Saiyans were, he feels the need to train once again and does the same 4 months that he did in canon to achieve his golden form. During this time though, Goku, Vegeta and Nappa have all picked up training under Whis. They are all very strong and seek to further their powers by receiving divine guidance and assistance. Whis begins to take them down the road of Ultra Instinct and Goku is making the most initial progress. He is Goku, but also just has the most compatible mind for Ultra Instinct. Vegeta is an intelligent warrior and calculates his moves, while Nappa fights with fury and power. The model of the mindless, graceful Ultra Instinct user is a tough concept for Nappa and Vegeta to immediately wrap their heads around. On Earth though, strong fighters like Goten, Trunks and Gohan still remain. Goten and Trunks were training much more than they were in canon, and now that their fathers are off-world, they have decided to become frequent sparring partners for each other. This means that they still grow stronger, but Trunks is still too arrogant to take heed of the advice that the stronger Goten gives him. Eventually though, Trunks gains access to Super Saiyan 2 and this bridges the gap between him and his friends slightly. However, he's going to have to put in a lot more work to totally match his strength right away. Frieza arrives on Earth and his army is dealt with easily by the likes of the Z Fighters, but also Goten and Trunks. Gohan arrives as he does in canon, but the two kids steal the show. Goten dismantles the likes of Shisami and Takuma with ease, leaving just Frieza as the sole fighter left. He exits his flying pod and flies right at Goten, still in his first form. He sees no need to transform against a mere child, but he is surprised to see that Goten takes the kick that he gives him. Goten is still in just Super Saiyan and evades the punch that he subsequently throws. Frieza shouts and throws down a full power slam, but Goten lifts into flight and evades his attack entirely. The ground intensely shakes under this impact, but Goten takes this time to ascend higher into his next form, Super Saiyan 2. Frieza is taken aback by this transformation since the only Saiyan form that he is aware of is the basic golden Super Saiyan form. However, he just chuckles at the fact that this new form looks incredibly similar to ordinary Super Saiyan. The only difference that you can see is the lightning that now crackles in his aura. "What is this simple power-up gonna do against me, boy?" Frieza asks with pride, but Goten dives down with newfound speed. He catches Frieza off guard with a punch that launches him into his floating pod. It cracks on impact and he slowly raises up to his feet with surprise on his face. "So your son is stronger than you were on that day, Goku. What a surprise," Frieza says, before erupting in his own aura of ki. "You annoy me," Frieza declares, entering his final form. There is a bright, blinding light and his sleek white form takes form once again. Gohan just scoffs upon seeing this form once again. He feels annoyed that he must stay behind, but he hasn't been training. He can barely sustain Super Saiyan, let alone get Super Saiyan 2, and it's clear that he has gotten much weaker. He wants to step in, but as much as he wants to do so, he is aware that he would just slow his younger brother down. Frieza charges at Goten with a smile, making him step back upon seeing just how fast he has become. However, before Frieza can reach him, Goku arrives and catches his punch. He didn't actually teleport since he didn't go to Yardrat to learn instant transmission, but his movements look like he is teleporting. Beside him, Vegeta and Nappa land and look ahead with their usual imposing frames. Frieza doesn't even greet the Saiyan and throws another punch in quick succession. He killed him and now feels great anger upon seeing him, but Goku catches his next attack with ease. His punch stops him right in place, and as soon as it lands in his palm, there's nothing he can do to push his fist further. Frieza shrugs it off and doesn't want to immediately show his weakness. Backing away, the two fighters stand against each other and Frieza doesn't want to waste any time in just his final form. After seeing him catch his punch so easily, there's just no need to beat around the bush. He enters his new golden form and Goku looks quite astonished. He can sense his ki and he's gotten stronger by quite a large amount, but he just can't see him being stronger than him. Frieza shoots toward him with newfound speed and Goku enters his Super Saiyan God form initially. Blocking the incoming attack, Frieza feels this impossibly strong resistive force once again. Following this, he delivers a gut punch to his gut that cripples him. Frieza still has enough strength left though, and he rushes forward to attack him once again. He swings wildly and angrily, and his attacks simply don't connect or land on the target. He continuously misses and Goku is evading his attacks easily. Even after all this time, Frieza, you couldn't become stronger than us Saiyans that you look down on so much, Goku declares, making Frieza shout in anger. He struggles to accept his inferiority and then Vegeta lands ahead of Goku after he evades the last attack. Let me continue this bout. You killed him once, let me destroy him for the final time, Vegeta says. He turns to Frieza and lifts his arm right at his face. Vegeta erupts in an aura of blue ki and Frieza just watches in fear. Wait Vegeta, if you don't kill me I can give you all very high rankings in my empire, Frieza offers with his arms reached out. What do I care about the empire that we've already destroyed once? Your empire will be no more after you perish, Vegeta says, releasing an energy wave before Frieza can even reply. He is taken out by the incoming energy blast and there is nothing left of him as he is completely vaporized. Vegeta, Nappa and Goku are much stronger entering training with Whis. Now that they have android bodies that allow them to constantly grow stronger, they have all reached new heights. Nappa has solidified himself as a very strong warrior. He has a lower power level than Goku and Vegeta, but for the power level he is incredibly strong. Following this swift end to the Resurrection F saga, the next saga that comes along is the Universe 6 saga. Beerus and Champa decide to have this tournament of destroyers and the Saiyans are eager to showcase their abilities. Seeing the number of fighters they are to come up against, they agree to split the opponents evenly between them. Gohan and Piccolo are added to the team just as supplementary fighters. Judging from how strong Goku, Vegeta and Nappa are, they are confident that they're not going to fight any person at this tournament. Beerus has no need to add Monaka to their ranks to motivate the Saiyans. They are already highly anticipating the ability to showcase their new powers to the opposite universe. There are 5 opponents for them to go against and Goku is given only 1 fighter to go against. He is the strongest and they say that he should let Nappa and Vegeta have a chance to fight more. Nappa is first up and he is very bummed out to find out that his first opponent is Botamo. Botamo can absorb a lot of blunt trauma like punches and kicks, but Nappa is the bane of his very existence. He rushes forward and lands a single punch that launches him right off the arena. He does a good job to absorb the force from this very Saiyan, but it just isn't enough. Even Botamo is surprised that he was thrown off the ring with 1 punch. The following opponent is Frost, and he looks far more entertained to see that he is one of Frieza's race. He can't wait to pummel someone of Frieza's race after everything that he had been through under the Tyrant's reign. The fight begins and Nappa wipes the floor with Frost. Initially, Frost can't do anything to hit him. He's still in his first form and he eventually climbs up to his final form, but he can't do anything to take him down. Soon enough, Nappa has a look of disappointment after realizing that his time is up and he hasn't even had the chance to fight anyone strong at all. He just stands there in anger and sadness, taking the punches from Frost without even moving. Frost sees this, then decides to try and use his poison while he isn't dodging his attacks. However, Nappa slips past the punch that is aimed for his chest, then strikes Frost in his face with such force that he is nearly killed. He shoots off the entire ring and he is eliminated. For the next fighter that comes along, Vegeta signals for Nappa to get off so that he can fight and he just reluctantly complies. Who knew that Universe 6 would be so weak, Nappa says, just stepping off the ring. Ciampa is annoyed by this disrespect and places all his hope in Ultimate Getter to mend his hurt ego by eliminating the next fighter. Ultimate Getter takes this comment as an insult though and just throws himself off the ring. Ciampa just looks at this aghast and Beerus has burst out laughing at him and his whole universe. This evens out the fighters that Goku and Vegeta have for one each, and Vegeta is up against Cabba just like in canon. He consoles him and tutors him through his bout. He did want to actually fight, but thinks that training up a Saiyan to use Super Saiyan is a much more valuable thing for him to have done. From the look of Hit though, he is annoyed that you won't be fighting him instead. From his general appearance, he looks quite strong. He just steps off the ring and lets Goku carry on as Universe 7's next fighter. Goku faces Hit and the match has begun. Goku begins in his base form and tries to land a punch on Hit, however he seems to just teleport out the way and hit him into the ring floor, causing it to crack. Goku feels pain from this attack and is taken aback by his strength, and he rolls away from the next attack promptly. He enters his primal Super Saiyan form, taking on an appearance that looks closer to Nappa's, and enters battle again. He trades blows with Hit and looks to be doing much better, but Hit is not even trying. However, Goku somehow looks disappointed. If he has to try as hard as he is to contain his attacks from his primal Super Saiyan state, he assumes that he just isn't as strong as he is. Hit throws a stronger punch to his chest that sends him sliding across the arena floor, and Goku is tired of waiting around. He doesn't want to fight this warrior when he is clearly holding back, and his weird teleportation-like ability should make this fight more entertaining. He roars and begins powering up, releasing vast amounts of strength. Now utilizing God Ki, his power level shoots up by significant amounts, and the rubble across the ring from their battle slowly rises and floats around him. You'll be the first person to see me use this fight in battle. I've been working on it for quite a while and I think I just got it down, Goku says, making him smile. Hit isn't concerned, looking at him with his signature solemn gaze. His hair switches to red, but it remains furry, and so does his body. His fur becomes a pale red colour too, and he envelops in a fiery red aura. Now he has combined the power of Primal Super Saiyan with Super Saiyan God. This is not just ordinary Super Saiyan God, this is Primal Super Saiyan God, 1000 times multiplier on Super Saiyan God. How did he get that form before me? Nappa says with annoyance. Goku looks like a true god as he faces Hit. His power has reached new heights, and these are heights that Hit simply can't reach. He dashes at Goku and throws a full power strike. He causes a shockwave to be released from how fast his fist moves, but Goku isn't hit by the punch. Another comes his way, but he slips right past it with immense speed but also graceful movements. He moves with a certain amorphousness where he just moves in just the right way to make sure that he isn't caught. Hit comes rushing in, angry that he has been reduced to this level. He is renowned for his skill and power as an assassin. Being seen now as a weak fighter that can't even hit his target makes him furious. His attack is far too predictable though. His anger has gotten the best of him, and Goku just parries his incoming punch with a light tap before kicking Hit in his stomach. His aura flares out in the process, and Hit is shot backwards like an arrow. Landing outside the ring, he coughs blood upon holding his stomach, and the tournament is now over. Goku stands in the ring and Ciampa looks upon him with concern. Just how strong is that Saiyan? Ciampa whispers to himself, watching him. From first glance, he thinks that he might even rival the weaker gods of destruction. However, shaking his head, he brushes that thought off because it just isn't possible in his mind. How could a mere Saiyan mortal compare to a god anyways? The following arc is the Future Trunks saga. In the future, Trunks is trying his best to face a super powered form of Goku Black. This form of Goku Black is insanely strong, with the powers of Cell within him. After seeing his power at the Tournament of Destroyers, Zamasu knows he has made the right choice in taking his body. He manages to escape with his life and arrives in the present timeline. He goes in to attack Goku, who is back on Earth, but his punch is caught just like usual. They talk to each other just as they did in canon and try to get on the same page because Trunks is acting quite strange to them. To test his strength, Vegeta wants to see how strong his son is. Facing his son, Trunks comes at him with everything he has and swings down his sword in Super Saiyan. Vegeta steps to the side and watches him cleave open a large portion of the ground. He continues trying to hit him, but Vegeta, still in his base form, can easily remain untouched. Vegeta then slowly lifts up his arms and Trunks looks scared as he awaits attacks. He tries to defend himself, but his father pounces on him with such speed that he just stands there. He receives several punches to his torso and has to place his weight onto his sword to stay up. Don't hurt him too much, Vegeta, Goku insists, but the prince waves him off. If you're my son, you mustn't show weakness. I can tell that you're hiding something, so show me your true power, Vegeta declares. He transforms further and enters his Super Saiyan 2 form. Charging back at Vegeta, he throws down his sword and looks slightly more entertained by the sword swing that nearly cuts him. He does evade it still, but Trunks just decides to chuck his blade forward as powerfully and explosively as he can. It clips his father on his cheek, but his father literally catches the sword as it blows past him, chucking it back to Trunks. You're nowhere near Kakarot's strength. You're lucky that that fake Kakarot on your timeline has been sparing you. The other fighters are surprised by his callous remark and Trunks' eye twitches. His comment was very insensitive and from his perspective he hasn't been being spared. What do you mean by that? Trunks replies. What I'm saying is Kakarot is extremely strong. You are strong but you pale in comparison to him, Vegeta states, while turning. The Saiyans eventually make it to the future timeline and the first person to face Goku Black is instead Nappa. He is the weakest and is aware of that, so he decides to test the waters. He also makes the argument that he had the least fun at the Tournament of Destroyers, so his disappointment should be repaid by facing this individual first. He flies up to face the false Saiyan and chuckles upon seeing him. You can never be as strong as Goku. You have the body of a Saiyan but you can never be one. I hate that I have to be trapped by the body of a mere mortal. A divine mind within this body has instead made me much greater than you could ever be. Nappa was intending to start Lally and eventually gear up the intensity, but after hearing that remark he is unwilling to do so. He charges at Goku Black and lands a full power punch in his base form. Super Saiyan 2 Goku matched Goku Black for a time in canon and so he is certainly winded by that punch. Being divine won't help you on the battlefield. We Saiyans are built for this like no other, Nappa shouts, punching him again. Goku Black coughs blood, then Nappa punches him downward and ends up making him crash through an entire building. Good riddance, Nappa declares, looking downward. However, as he looks down for a few seconds, he sees Goku burst out of the formed cloud of smoke and dust. He rushes back to Nappa and throws a punch that he has to put a good amount of effort into evading. It rushes right past his face and he ends up being forced to block the next punch that comes his way. In seconds, Goku Black seems to have climbed in power by astronomical amounts. I'll show you just how frail and useless you mortals are, Goku Black declares. Nappa chuckles, brushing the fur on his forearms. Sure, Nappa says, entering his primal Super Saiyan form. Goku Black's smile of arrogance fades upon seeing the pristine golden aura that envelops his body. Nappa looks ahead with eyes of pure fury and he means business now. He might be in one of his lesser forms, but he certainly isn't going to hold back. He zooms right at Goku Black and his single punch makes him cough out blood. Nappa then unleashes a brutal assault on the being, unwilling to give him an inch of breathing space. His attacks are lethal and vicious, but he doesn't care. Soon enough, Goku Black cowers away from Nappa in a stagger. Nappa walks across the street they're in and stares him down before he notices something odd. Goku Black then stands back up and doesn't look injured like he once was. He rolls and now enters his Super Saiyan form, showing the Saiyans that he is indeed getting stronger. Nappa receives a punch from this newly powered Goku Black and it actually knocks him back. He receives another, then has to use a lot of effort to evade the third. Nappa and Goku Black are eventually battling like equals and Goku doesn't like how these things are playing out. Nappa, even in the powerful form of Super Saiyan Blue, is not enough to subdue this foe. Goku Black has now accessed the power of Super Saiyan Rose, providing him with volumes of power. He falls back with his blue fur and looks very injured after receiving those attacks. He ends up coughing blood and falling to a knee, still healing from his wounds. Just as Goku Black looks to finish him off, Vegeta dives in out of nowhere and hits the being right away. He slides back in Super Saiyan and Vegeta stands against him in Super Saiyan Blue. Back off Nappa, I'll take the fight from here, Vegeta says, looking back to Goku Black. Their fight begins and Vegeta is posing much more of a threat to Goku Black. However, he has already grown to be equal to Nappa, who isn't that much weaker than Vegeta. In mere minutes, Vegeta's confidence has faded and now he is fighting on the back end. Vegeta isn't willing to let Goku step in and looks furious. He clashes with Goku Black and pushes against him as hard as he can, only to receive a knee to his gut, then a punch to the face that drops him to the ground. You Saiyans are utter weaklings. I told you that mortals are inferior beings, Goku Black states, before Goku appears behind him. This ends now, Goku says, beginning to use his primal Super Saiyan God form. The surrounding area is destroyed due to his intense aura and Goku Black looks a little surprised. However, Goku raises his hand and a red ball of ki starts growing. Vegeta, Nappa, leave this area now, Goku declares. They do just that and it seems like they know exactly what is about to happen. Do you not see? Any one of your weak attacks will be useless against me, he shouts, regally raising his arms. His pink hair gives him even more of a divine appearance, but Goku continues charging his attack. He unleashes the power of his attack that he dubs the Ultra Kamehameha. A massive red blast of energy is shot toward Goku Black, who catches it. Goku rolls in resistance and floods as much power as he can into this attack, destroying the surrounding area even more. Buildings crumble and the ground quakes from the pure release of energy. Goku Black starts to see the blast bending past his fingers, then there is nothing that he can do. The blast engulfs his entire body and begins to destroy it. The damage is too much and Goku Black is reduced to a pile of scorched flesh and ash. As this happens, Zamasu watches on in shock upon seeing this. He has arrived just too late to save his counterpart and the Saiyans then notice him in the skies. Goku thrusts himself right in his direction and attempts to take him down, but he soon realizes that there is nothing that he can do to actually defeat him. Seeing this happen, he calls up his friend Zeno to see what he can do about the situation. Upon hearing of his crimes and what he intends to do, he decides to help Goku and erases Zamasu right away. He hasn't fused with the universe just yet, since Goku hasn't even performed the Mafuba on him. They haven't even returned to the present timeline for Goku to learn the Mafuba technique. With this, the threats of Goku Black and Zamasu have been removed early. This brings an early end to the arc and future Trunks remains in his timeline with Mai to fix up what is left of the planet. As the remaining Saiyans return to Earth though, the next arc comes along. This is the Tournament of Power arc. Just like before, Goku ends up meeting with Zeno talking about a hypothetical tournament between universes. Goku gives much more respect to Zeno in this timeline because even though his personality is practically the same, he just knows a lot more. He doesn't act as idiotic and understands the fears of Beerus, but he also notices that Zeno doesn't care about when he addresses him informally. Before the tournament begins, there is a quick sparring match between the likes of Toppo and Goku that happens after the spar between the Gods of Destruction. Goku can't wait to fight somebody from another universe and their fight begins. Toppo charges in with a punch but Goku smoothly evades it. Another few come his way but he evades them all in similar ways. As Toppo advances toward him again though, he transforms and begins using his primal Super Saiyan form. He ducks under this punch then delivers a powerful strike to his stomach, launching him across the ring. His defensive fighting style switches to the offensive and he is visibly dominating. Toppo is unbothered though and begins using his special aura of a god power. Goku zooms in to try and land another attack, receiving a punch that feels much stronger than the previous attacks he'd been throwing. Whoa, how did you just get so much stronger like that? You're using God Ki, Goku says in surprise. Yes, if you cannot do the same then I am very disappointed, Toppo replies. Don't worry, I can, Goku says, entering his Super Saiyan God form. The two continue their bout and Toppo is giving him a very tough time. Even though Goku isn't really trying that hard, he is pummeling the man. He can beat him around with ease and Goku isn't even trying. Toppo looks quite angry that he has been reduced to this level and charges back at him with his amplified speed. He shouts and tries to throw a downward punch to hit the smaller warrior, but Goku slips past his fist and lands a single punch to his stomach that launches him off the entire ring. This brings an end to their bout right away and Goku gains the attention of the other gods of destruction that are present. Due to the power that he has showcased, they look a little bit scared knowing that their universes will have to go up against him. This performance just makes Beerus even more confident in his own universe and survival. So for the Tournament of Power team, the Universe 7 team is as follows. The group return to Earth and notice that Goten and Trunks are very powerful. The first three chosen are the top trio, being Goku, Vegeta and Nappa. Then Goten and Trunks are added to the squad. The others that are added as extra fighters are Gohan, Piccolo, Android 18 and Super 17. Krillin is also added as the next fighter as he has developed on his solar flare even more, with the solar flare times 100 like in Dragon Ball Super canon. Even with your eyes closed it can stun you and he has been practicing quite a bit with his destructor discs and things like that. He just wants to make sure that he is in perfect shape for this tournament. Before the fight, Gohan, Goten, Trunks and Piccolo all train with each other. Their powers climb by monumental amounts and Gohan shows them how much potential he has. During this somewhat short training period, Goten and Trunks gain access to Super Saiyan 3 and the group get ready to leave for the tournament. The tournament soon begins and the first fight that gets quite heated is Frost versus the three weaker Saiyans, Goten, Trunks and Gohan. Gohan engages in battle first and immediately enters the fight in Super Saiyan, but he is stopped by Frost who is just in his third form. He feels motivated to defeat him after facing Frieza all those years ago, but he just can't seem to defeat him. He isn't exactly doing too poorly either, he just isn't dealing significant damage. Frost is doing quite well at containing him, then he lands a punch to his chest, then he whips his leg around to kick him right in the jaw. Being knocked backward, Trunks aims up and while in Super Saiyan 2 uses his big tree cannon. It's a watered down version of his father's final flash but still packs a punch. It hits Frost right on and knocks him back a little bit. He feels annoyed that he's been hurt to that level by that attack, but the three continue their assault and don't give him any room to breathe or think. They quite frankly beat the man down, then Frost is forced to enter his final form. Without Frieza to act as his teammate, he doesn't use his 100% form and therefore he doesn't have that extra power up. Goten and Trunks get grabbed by Frost and slammed into the ground, then he shoots a death beam into the side of Gohan's torso. This cripples him and he isn't in any ultimate form since he doesn't have it. Super Saiyan 2 is the limit to his power for now, and he curses himself for spending all those years out of training. Now he has entered this weak state and can barely even protect his own universe. Feeling his anger almost slip, just like it did in the Cell Saga in canon, he screams and is fueled by new power. The strength he feels flowing through his veins motivates him to charge his power up even more, and he accesses his Super Saiyan 3 form for the first time. He races right toward Frost and punches him away, then Goten and Trunks all power up into their Super Saiyan 3 forms. The Golden Saiyans circle Frost, who backs away to the ring's edge in fear. Frost begins to act, but then Krillin from beside him uses his Solar Flare times 100. A bright light is given off that catches the attention of even the divine spectators, and Frost screams while holding his eyes. The three Saiyans rush in at Frost and all punch him at the same time, launching him off the ring to eliminate him. There we go, thanks Krillin, Gohan says, watching him disappear. No problem, Krillin says, before turning to a lesser fighter to engage in battle with. The following fight consists of Vegeta facing Toppo. Toppo is keen on getting back his respect after losing so badly to Goku in that preliminary spar, and Vegeta knows he stands no chance against him. He punches the android and sees his body not move at all. He isn't using his aura of a god form and so knows that he can't compete at this point, therefore he ups the stakes and enters such form, making Vegeta more alarmed as he sees him charge in his direction with immense speed. He enters Super Saiyan 2 and tries to dodge the first attack but receives a punch to his gut. Toppo leaps up and dives down to punch him in the face after. Vegeta crashes into the ring floor but springs back up and wipes the blood off his face with a smile. His laugh sounds mechanical and spine-chilling to Toppo, who watches on. "Allow me to show you the true power of a Saiyan Prince," Vegeta roars, entering his Super Saiyan Blue form. However, he doesn't just stop there and continues further. His power climbs and climbs, even catching the attention of fighters around him. "Prepare to lose," Vegeta shouts, rushing forward to punch him in his stomach. His impactful strike punctures one of his organs and launches him away. Toppo coughs out blood, aghast at the state that he's now been left in. He wipes the blood from his mouth, then receives many more attacks from Vegeta that beat him down even further. How, Toppo wonders. He has been renowned for being a very powerful member of his universe and has even been training under his own god of destruction to surpass him. However, now he's been taken down by not one but two of the fighters of Universe 7. Vegeta doesn't even reply and just chuckles before shooting a ki blast into his stomach. This launches him off the ring and eliminates him, then Vegeta turns to see Goku and Nappa engaged in battle against Jiren. Nappa is struggling badly, having been forced to use his Super Saiyan Blue form, and Goku has been forced to enter his Super Saiyan God form to even contend with Jiren. Even in Super Saiyan God, Goku is many times stronger than Nappa is now and is pretty much protecting him. "Just leave me to get eliminated, I'll only hold you back," Nappa says, holding the side of his body in pain. Goku charges ahead and lands a swiveling kick to Jiren's face, making him fall back a little. However, before Vegeta can step in, he can see the three other Saiyans struggling against Kale that has let loose. She is currently in her Super Saiyan Berserk state and he rushes right over and grabs Trunks before he is eliminated by a powerful punch from her. The punch releases a shockwave that cracks parts of the arena, but Vegeta raises his arms and tells them to back away. "Please, let me handle this," Vegeta says to his son before charging forward. He dodges the first punch that aims for his head, then lands a punch to her gut that folds her right over. The punch is most certainly debilitating and she stumbles back but is blinded by rage. The pain won't affect her that much and she charges right back at Vegeta, who smirks while jumping back. You can see that she'll just run into any attack that he throws and so waits for the perfect time to strike. In the meantime, he's just throwing punches and kicks that don't really have any force behind them. She just can't catch Vegeta and her attacks don't do him any damage. He possesses a certain swiftness that she can't deal with, and suddenly she receives a punch right to her stomach. This punch is much stronger than any attack he had thrown before and launches her right to the edge of the ring. Caulifla has received Potara earrings and tries to fuse with Kale, but she is eliminated before she can do anything. Caulifla looks at this happen in shock before receiving a ki blast from Vegeta that eliminates her too. Vegeta's attacks were too quick and he had defeated her much more quickly than in canon, even in her Berserk state. Goku and Nappa stand against Jiren and Nappa is even more injured than he was before. Goku steps forward and cracks his knuckles before entering his battle stance. "Alright Jiren, now it's time to show you my full power," Goku shouts to him, crouching down. Jiren stands with his solemn, emotionless gaze and doesn't even reply. He has not been entertained by the fight with these two fighters and is hoping to see a powerful, flashy transformation. Nappa scales far above Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku from canon, but Jiren is still too strong. It's going to take a lot more power to bring him down, and that is the power that Goku is currently searching for. He roars and begins utilizing his primal Super Saiyan God form. Now 1,000 times stronger, he believes that this form might just be enough. Rushing forward, he takes Jiren off guard with his speed and connects with a single punch to launch him back. The grey-skinned fighter holds his cheek and looks at his palm to see the drop of blood within it. He almost lets loose upon seeing this and can't believe that this has truly happened. How can he prove his strength to his master if he shows weakness like this? Before Goku can attack him again, he erupts in a pressurizing, terrifying aura that pushes him back. His true power has been revealed, and Belmod slams his hands together, hoping that Jiren can pull through and save his universe. The strongest fighters beside him have already been eliminated, while the Universe 7 fighters look just as strong as ever. The two warriors that stand against each other charge at one another with everything they have. Jiren and Goku slam together ferociously and seem to be equals at first. Goku lands the first punch that connects, but Jiren retaliates with a punch of his own. Jiren goes forward for a knee, but Goku is smaller and nimbler than his adversary. He can slip past this attack by stepping to the side. Just as he does so, he aims ahead and punches him right in his back. This punch launches Jiren forward and didn't feel like the hit he had taken to the face. Jiren turns and in rage charges at Goku and swings his left arm outwardly. He just wants to hurt Goku as much as possible right now, but the Saiyan still evades his attack. No matter how hard he tries, he can't land an attack on him. That isn't Ultra Instinct, is it? Champa asks, in shock. Goku has been in the back of his mind ever since the Tournament of Destroyers, and through this entire tournament he couldn't take his eyes off him. No, he's just insanely fast. He could use Ultra Instinct if he wanted to, but I don't think he will, Beerus explains. No chance. There's no way a mortal could use Ultra Instinct. You haven't even mastered the technique yet, Champa shouts back, distressed. You don't have to believe me, you won't get to see it happen anyways, Beerus replies. Goku slips under a punch from Jiren, then lands a full power punch to his gut. With a much stronger base and a 1,000 times multiplier on top of Super Saiyan God, it is time for Jiren to say goodbye. Just this punch makes him cough up blood and gravely damages some of his vital organs. He stumbles off the ring entirely, and Goku is deemed the winner of this tournament for having taken out the last fighter along with his whole universe. With the Super Dragon Balls, Goku chooses to wish for all the universes to return. He wants to face someone strong like Jiren in the future and hopes he'll go back to the drawing board and get stronger so that he can have a better fight against him in the future. Now what follows is the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Goku, Vegeta and Nappa all continue their training, and Frieza is still dead after being killed in Resurrection F. He was never revived in the Tournament of Power to act as a member of the Universe 7 team, and therefore doesn't try to use Broly to face the Saiyans since he isn't alive. Nappa and Vegeta haven't been successful in acquiring Ultra Instinct, and Beerus has decided to try and show them the power of destruction. He believes it would be a lot more useful to them, but he only shows them after they ask repeatedly. Chila and Limo are no longer under Frieza but are just rogue soldiers trying to get by as freelancers. They find Broly and Paragus on planet Vampa and take them away. Broly and Paragus want to find other Saiyans, and they soon find out about the planet Earth, where the remaining Saiyans are present. Goku, Vegeta and Nappa are currently at Bulma's summer house and have continued their training on Earth. They all are having a great time, but suddenly feel the large key signature of someone heading right toward their planet at high speed. Who could that be, Goku wonders, looking up at the sky. He hasn't felt this key before and can't place a finger on who this person is. However, from the nature of the key signature, he can tell that this person is strong. They land near Bulma's summer house and shoot themselves in the direction of that spaceship. Broly and Paragus are revealed, and Paragus looks more than angry to see Prince Vegeta. He believes that his father is the reason for everything that happened to him and his son, and so lets Broly go to fight him. What's happening, Vegeta wonders, watching Broly soar toward him. He takes the first punch that sends him sliding back, and now they're not fighting in any sort of snow biome, but instead the wasteland that they had arrived in. He isn't too surprised by that punch. That seems quite strong for a Saiyan, but it's nothing for him to be bothered about. The next punch comes soaring toward his face, but he dodges it right away before kicking Broly right in his stomach. Vegeta chases after him and throws several attacks that Broly struggles to contain. He might possess good raw power, but has no fighting technique compared to Vegeta. Paragus can see that his son is struggling, and so lowers the control over him with the device wrapped around his neck. Broly's surge in strength pushes Vegeta back and destroys the rock around him. He screams so loudly that veins can be seen up his neck and his eyes start to glow golden. His hair rises and begins to look wild, primal. Vegeta expects the primal Super Saiyan form, but Broly enters his Ikari form that only has a 10 times multiplier. However, he rushes back to Vegeta and takes him aback with the first punch. This Vegeta would clobber Super Saiyan Vegeta from this point in canon, so it will take a little longer before Broly forces him to transform. However, the time soon comes and he grabs him by the neck, snarling in his face. He can barely breathe, and so he enters his Super Saiyan form and pushes Broly back. As he is forced back, he lands a punch that launches him through an entire rock pillar, then he shoots off a bunch of ki blasts that chase him down. Massive explosions are released and Paragus watches on in shock and he presumes that his son is dead. He's lost total control over him after the device was broken in his transformation and he's just praying that he can make it through. Sheila and Lemo swiftly inform him that he is alive and Broly reveals himself once again. They know this from their scouters and the other Saiyans know this from sensing his ki. His power looks unstable and only seems to be rising. Vegeta watches on in shock as he can feel his ki signature inexorably inflating. It feels like when he trains with Goku, where he can feel his power continuously growing as he heals. Of course this happens to Vegeta and Nappa too, but Goku's rate of healing is just faster. Broly rushes back to Vegeta and catches him off guard with his newfound speed. He punches him once and launches him away. Vegeta isn't the evil person that you think he is. I know that his father caused you to be sent off planet, but I know the two people. Prince Vegeta is not King Vegeta, Nappa says to Paragus, who watches on. Of course you would say that. You were the little prodigy's adult supervisor, weren't you? You would never say anything bad about him, Paragus says. I'm not saying that he's perfect, I never would. However, there's no need to continue to get strung up on the past. If you want to stay here then you can, your son clearly has potential and uncontrollable power. If he stays here we can train him so that he can utilise that power himself instead of letting it take over him, Nappa explains. What he is saying is true, Goku says in support. If Vegeta was as Paragus thinks, Broly would be dead or gravely injured right now. However, he is still alive and Vegeta is now an only Super Saiyan God. Broly doesn't have that trigger to go Super Saiyan since Paragus is not killed, so Broly can't climb in power as fast. Vegeta soon has his head in the ground while he's in Super Saiyan Blue. Stand down Broly, I'm not your enemy, Vegeta shouts. Broly falls out of his Ikari form and just stares down Vegeta with a snarl. He's been defeated and the other Saiyans arrive, including Paragus. Instead of sending your son out to kill me, you should have talked to me first. You can rest here if you wish. I'm guessing that you've left from some planet after my father sent you away, and I'm sorry for what he did, Vegeta says, as Broly shrugs him off. He falls back to Paragus' side and the fight is called off. The two Saiyans decide to stay and end up back on Beerus' planet where they can train the Saiyan up. In literal days, he makes astounding progress and Whis stays off, just making him stronger and stronger. It won't be long before he surpasses the androids and they do not give him God Ki just yet. What he needs is to control the vast amounts of power that he already possesses. The following arc is the Moro Arc. With Nobu, Jacko and Meris take Goku, Vegeta, Broly and Nappa to help them. The four Saiyans want to give Broly a chance to test his powers and they think this is the perfect chance. If he does lose control or can't defeat Moro, they can just step in themselves. Broly stands against Moro on planet Namek and the magician looks unfazed. What is confusing him though is that 2 out of these 4 Saiyans seem to have no energy that he can absorb. Nappa and Vegeta resemble reanimated corpses that have no power in them. It's weird, but you can see that they are alive in some way. The battle begins and Broly powers up in his base form. The other Saiyans just look at each other as he powers up. The power he has is insane and the only person that can really contain him with ease now is Goku. He flies right at Moro and doesn't hold back with his initial assault. He punches him and launches him right away before flying right after him. Moro gets beat around completely and can't even do anything about it. Broly's power is too much for him to contain, but he then starts using the power of Namek against him. Blasts of lava shoot toward Broly and one thing that he doesn't yet have is elite speed. He is almost like Nappa, where most of his power is vested in his physical strength and not other attributes. However, he isn't as large as Nappa is and is faster by a little bit. He soars around these incoming blasts but is finally hit by one that shoots him down to the ground. Moro just stands over him and begins creating an energy blast from the energy of the planet. As he does this, Goku falls to a knee, holding his chest in pain. His life energy is being sucked right out of him and it feels weird. He has infinite ki but his power is artificial. Moro is not drawing from that power. However, for Vegeta and Nappa there is nothing for him to suck out. They remain totally fine and just look at the fallen Saiyan in confusion. The large spirit bomb like blast is shot down toward Broly, who catches it right away. He pushes it as hard as he possibly can and can't get it to budge. Use the power within you, Broly. Unleash it, Vegeta shouts with encouragement. Broly's eyes glow blue from the previous yellow and his hair starts to flow. His pupils then vanish though as he enters his Super Saiyan form. He destroys the blast with a simple squeeze before rushing right ahead to Moro in his new form. He punches him once, launching him into the sky and zooms ahead to face him. The two have an aerial battle and Broly rushes right past the magician to punch him in his back. As he comes soaring down from the clouds, Broly flies down right beside him, then kicks him in his side to launch him away. He attempts to shoot lava at the same, but he just launches a ki blast at it and destroys it right away. Moro looks terrified as he rushes right at him, then he ends up receiving a punch to his chest that cracks many of his bones. He is held further up into the skies and is beat down even further. Moro can do nothing about it and ends up stood up against a rock wall, covered in his own blood. Broly's eyes return and control has been granted. The others look calmed once they see that they won't have to step in just yet. Broly continues to walk toward his target and walks him down. Standing against him firmly, Goku walks ahead to stand beside him. He believes that his power is too much to lose and he wants to fuse with him. Nappa arrives and makes Broly step down. "Just wait for now, Broly, you did good," Goku says, making him step back. Goku then grabs Moro by the head and the magician is contained. The only issue is that he won't be willing to fuse with Goku. He needs the opposite warrior to consent to the fusion/absorption to take their abilities. Beerus arrives and contains the weakened magician, but Goku wants to take his powers. He believes that it would be good to use his abilities for himself so that his power doesn't go to waste. However, after absorbing Cell, who can forcefully absorb individuals, his power has gone through quite the augmentation. He doesn't grow a tail like Cell does, but the power of absorption that he already has been improved. Touching Moro, he is about to ask him to fuse with him, but since he already wants to absorb the magician, the absorption begins. Moro transforms into pure light, and Goku gets engulfed by this light as well. After this happens, he is absorbed into his body and he becomes one with Moro. It feels odd as he can feel the souls of the fallen enemies of Moro within him. It's a darkening feeling and puts him off a little bit. Taking his mind off this, he soon realizes how strong he's become. He can feel that he is much stronger than he ever was and believes that he has finally broken past the powers of the gods of destruction. All he has left is the angels. Returning to Beerus' planet, Goku stands against Beerus as the two warriors prepare to spar. After what happened against Moro, Vegeta and Nappa are saying that Goku has surpassed Beerus, but he is unwilling to accept it. Vegeta and Nappa have been training under Beerus and are rooting for him, but Whis is secretly rooting for Goku. After all, he's the only Saiyan directly training under him now. Beerus' Fury Aura blasts out and he rushes toward Goku. However, in his base form, he utilizes Ultra Instinct and blocks the second punch that comes toward him. Sliding back, Beerus creates a Hakai Blast that he kicks toward the Saiyan. As it soars toward him, just the waves of air that are released destroy the surrounding area, but Goku then drops his hand down to his sides. His hand is almost like he's holding some form of ball, but then globules of life energy start being sucked up from the ground beneath him. A white ki blast with a blue gleam is created that he shoots right back toward Beerus' own Hakai Blast. The two blasts cancel each other out and the two fighters rush at each other once again. Beerus is initially gaining the upper hand and grabs a rock to slam it into Goku's face. He cuts it and the rock explodes to launch him down to the ground. "That's Beerus for you," Nappa says. "There was no way Goku could have surpassed him already," Vegeta says. "You two are forgetting that Goku is still in his ordinary state. There is still a lot of power that he is holding back," Whis replies. As the smoke clears, Goku looks up at Beerus and UI Omen with a smile. Beerus dives down to try and attack him again, but Goku seems to teleport to arrive by his back. He lands a punch to his back that drops him to the ground, then tries to punch him again but he evades. The ground is destroyed from the force of this attack and Beerus looks quite concerned. Beerus tries to punch him but he can evade each attack with ease. His body does all the work for him and he ends up landing a full power punch to his head that stops him. Beerus drops a knee from taking such a heavy strike, but he looks more than ready to continue. With a bloody eye, he stands and screams at the top of his lungs, making the ground quake. The true power of the god of destruction is being revealed. He looks exhilarated as he hasn't been pushed to this level in many years. Beerus laughs maniacally as he feels the power of destruction soaring through his veins, and the area around him looks like a thunderstorm. However, before he can attack Goku again, Whis appears ahead of him. "Stand down, Beerus. Your spar is getting too intense and you are causing too much damage to the surroundings and yourself," Whis says, with his staff pointed at him. Beerus returns to his base form and the somewhat muscular physique that he had gained subsides too. "Fine, maybe another time, Goku," Beerus says, walking back. After this assault, he can tell that Goku is stronger than him. However, Beerus wants to get back on his A game. He doesn't want that to be the case forever. What follows is the Granolah Arc. Granolah wishes to become the strongest in the universe, and this time he is only given 6 remaining months from how strong Goku is. He has given his wish and he ends up destroying the heaters. However, they still trick the other Saiyans into trying to find this Granolah. They find him and search around for him on the planet Cereal. They can't immediately find him and don't notice it's anything of substance. However, Goku is nearly hit by a blast to the back of his neck. He avoids it and Broly looks quite scared. "Don't fret, Broly, keep your eyes open," Vegeta states. Broly is quite new to this whole thing and isn't as skilled at fighting as the other warriors. He is strong, but Goku has been trained by several martial arts masters from a young age. Along with that, Nappa and Vegeta have years of experience under trainers and also in battle missions across the galaxy. Granolah eventually reveals himself and attacks Nappa first. Since he is stronger than even Goku is, Nappa feels gravely injured by this punch. He coughs out blood and holds his stomach in agony. Vegeta enters his Super Saiyan form and punches Granolah only to see him not move at all. Entering Super Saiyan God, he throws another few punches in quick succession, but they don't do anything at all. Granolah elbows him in the chest and launches him away before looking toward the two remaining Saiyans that he must attack. "Broly, fall back," Goku says. Broly looks scared, but Goku turns back to him and uses Moro's telekinesis to launch him away. He creates more than 100 meters of distance between them before he dodges a super fast beam-like blast shot at him. The blast soars past his face and he enters Super Saiyan so that he can use a larger portion of his Ultra Instinct. A few more attacks are launched at him and he tries to catch one with his hands. However, this is a mistake as it soars past such hand and slams into one of his vitals. The pain he feels from such attack is considerable and it even surprises him with how much he's been affected by that attack. The shot felt like it shook his whole body and Granolah kicks him further downward. Just as Granolah is about to punch him, he slips past this attack and envelops in the red aura of Super Saiyan God. Landing a punch to his enemy's face, he isn't even hit back, he just pushes against his knuckles and stares the Saiyans down. "You Saiyans annoy me." Goku just looks at him in confusion before taking a punch to his gut, then another to the face. Being launched downward, he lands on the wasteland ground beneath them and wipes the blood from his nose. His statement confuses him and reminds him of Broly, however, thinking of what the Heater said to him, he brushes it off. They labelled him as an enemy that was dangerous and posing a serious threat. Would they just lie to him like that? "You beasts destroyed my whole planet and left me with nothing at all," Granolah shouts, powering up. The ground rumbles as his power grows. Goku feels it and is taken aback with how strong he is. It confuses him because there has been no one as strong as him that he's found. However, this power, it reminds him of Beerus. The other Saiyans just watch in surprise as they've basically been placed on the sidelines. This person that they found seems to have transcended even the gods of destruction. Just who is this being? Vegeta wonders, in shock. Goku knows he won't be doing much in the form that he's currently in and decides to enter his UI Omen form. His MUI form is good and stronger, but he doesn't want to lose his Saiyan instinct. He only uses his MUI form when he needs absolutely all the power that he has within him. Racing back to Granolah, the two fighters clash again. Granolah tries to punch him, but Goku evades and kicks him right into the sky. The spinning Cerulean tries to shoot him down in his advance, but he dodges it. Just as he does this, the ground starts to rumble. Energy comes soaring toward Goku, who takes it and uses it to form a powered up Kamehameha wave. He launches the energy wave right at Granolah, and since it has used energy from the surrounding planet, it won't be as easy for Granolah to contain. He grabs it and wrestles with it, only to realize that there is nothing that he can do. He is engulfed in the blast and Goku believes that the job is done. However, this was only a clone of Granolah. The real Granolah appears and shoots Goku in the back of his neck, utilizing his Ki Blast. This quite frankly takes him out and reverts him to his base form. He coughs blood upon receiving such an attack, but his pain doesn't last long. His Namekian healing abilities make the pain vanish. However, as he stands there, he receives an incoming punch from the Cerulean, jumping right back into his UI Omen form. Granolah shoots forward an elbow, but Goku steps back to evade before punching him right in his face. Upon landing his punch though, Granolah continues pushing against his fist. He forcefully turns his head and grits his teeth in anger upon viewing the Saiyan. How could this be? He is stronger than Lord Beerus if he can take a punch from Goku when he's in that form, Nappa says with surprise. Broly doesn't say a word, but he is quite frightened. What is happening here? Vegeta thinks to himself, watching this happen. Granolah and Goku fight as if they're equals and one cannot triumph over the other. Even with his Ultra Instinct, he does get caught at times by his amazing precision. In Mastered Ultra Instinct, Goku and Granolah both stand ahead of each other. Granolah is panting and covered in his own blood, but Goku looks just as fine as ever. Not only does he have infinite stamina, but his wounds have also been healed so that he feels no pain whatsoever. Granolah's wish has granted him what he wanted, but Goku's power is limitless. As he fights and gets injured, he grows stronger. Along with that, he doesn't get tired at all. Alright then, since I can't beat you down, I'll have to get rid of you in one fell swoop, Granolah shouts, stepping back. As he does this, energy starts to accumulate around his hands and the air around him rushes outward explosively. This is the end of it all. Say goodbye to your life and your entire race, Granolah shouts. Granolah, wait, Minato says from beside him. The fighter is stopped by him as he turns to him in confusion. What are you doing, he asks, watching him step off the ship that was piloted by Oatmeal. Minato then explains to him what really happened with his mother and that he was saved by Bardock, a Saiyan. As he starts to really process this news that has been told to him, Gas is provided with the wish of becoming the strongest in the universe. Unlike before, his power is going to be sucked from him much more quickly, and he certainly doesn't have much time left. Granolah attempts to battle him first, knowing what Alec did to his mother. The two fighters clash, but he is knocked back by the advancing heater. Goku has already grown to surpass Granolah from his infinite healing. Gas is now stronger than both warriors, so the gap between him and Granolah is significant. Both fighters battle it out with ferocity, and Granolah fights with newfound rage at what Alec and Gas did to his family. He aims ahead, and with both of his eyes awakened, he shoots out a wave of super precise ki blasts at his target. The attacks hit him in various places, but he can evade some of the other attacks too. He is left with a few bruises on his body, but this doesn't mean that he isn't still ready to fight. He rushes right back to Granolah and attempts to punch him, but Goku appears to catch his fist. Granolah, charge up an attack, and in the meantime, I'll hold him off. Let's finish this guy off, Goku says, powering up into his mastered Ultra Instinct form while he is stood there. Just his transformation cracks and destroys the rock beneath their feet, and he punches Gas back. He races after him, and Granolah stays put, charging up his attack. Goku does a good job at holding him back for now. He is weaker than him, but he makes sure to take as many injuries as possible to power up his body. Taking a series of punches and kicks to his body, Goku looks to be on his last legs. He is covered in blood and can barely stand. He has taken a serious beating from Gas, and Gas raises at him with a pitchfork. Forcing it downward, he managed to sever off one of Goku's arms. In the following movement, he stabs the blade right into his abdomen, making the blades reappear on the other side of his body. Goku coughs out blood and holds such weapon in agony. He can't even move, and once it is savagely ripped out, he drops to his hands and knees. You are of no resistance to me, Saiyan. Now I'll destroy you, Cerulean, Gas shouts, aiming his pitchfork at Granolah. Come on, Kakarot, get up, Nappa says, looking at him as he's on the ground. Before Gas can move forward though, he sees Goku in the corner of his eye. He sees him on his feet. Turning right away, he aims the pitchfork right at him, but Goku looks unfazed. Thank you for igniting this power inside me. Now I can go a step further, he states, before calmly exhaling. As he does this, he crouches down and begins shouting. He re-enters UI Omen so that he can utilize the power of his Saiyan instinct, and his power climbs. His hair starts to rise and his muscles bulge a significant amount. His hair returns to its silver color, and silver fur covers his arms and most of his torso. He gives out a final vehement scream to finalize his transformation. Now he has reached the pinnacle of divine Saiyan strength, primal Ultra Instinct. His fur is of a silver colour and his hair is silver, giving him a divine look. His aura has a crystalline glow to it, and Gas stands totally still in fear. Goku speed blitzes him and lands a single punch that breaks his skull. Blood spurts out from the created wound and he staggers to a knee, dropping his pitchfork. In rage, he runs back to Goku, but the Saiyan kicks him down to the ground, before punching him into the floor once again. He feels the power of the planet around him and sucks it deeper into his body. The small balls of energy are absorbed by him, then he hands his palms over to Granolah to hand him the energy that he's absorbed. Finish him off, Goku says, lifting him up to shove him in his direction. Gas already looks old and frail, having used much more of his life force to achieve this form this time. Goku wants Granolah to get revenge for all of the wrong that was done to him by Gas and the Heaters, then Goku almost teleports away from how fast he is moving. Not a single person watching him do this can actually perceive his movement. Granolah releases a full power blast, shooting out his index and middle fingers. Gas is hit by the blast head on and destroyed by it completely. He is reduced to an old, scorched, destroyed corpse, and Granolah isn't actually that fatigued from the energy that Goku received. A lot of the energy that he used for that attack was handed to him by Goku. He has the power of the angels now. He has combined the powers of our Super Saiyan with the divine Ultra Instinct. It really is impossible to catch up to a cheater like you, Kakarot. Goku returns to his base form and isn't injured at all. Granolah feels fine and just gives his thanks to Goku and the Saiyans. He wants to thank Bardock for what he did, but he is gone now and feels bad for demonizing a race that actually saved him in a way. Just as they are about to leave though, Frieza has arrived. He lands next to them in his black Frieza form and smirks. Hello there, Goku, Frieza says, before racing toward him. He lands a punch onto his body, but Goku doesn't even move. Frieza can't even believe what has happened, even though he had trained for a whole 10 years. After making so much progress after just 4 months of training, he was expecting to surpass all of his previous enemies in the 10-year training period. Just standing there, Goku enters his primal Ultra Instinct form once again and stares him down. "You're back," Goku says, squeezing his fist so hard that he starts cracking his bones. So that will conclude the final part of What If Goku Became an Android. I wanted to continue this plot on with Black Frieza facing Goku, but the problem is we just don't know how that following arc is going to go. Please tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.